People of the world, what is going on? Today is Friday, July 3rd. Thank God it's Pod Day, and welcome to episode 17 of Can't Stop Playing. We are entering the prime years of our lives, and I'm joined by my two very best co-hosts, Gabe Volatile Gabe, Max Blitzwinger, myself, Zach Ostrobo. You don't need introductions after 17 weeks, do you? You're part of the family.
We're in high school now. We're different people.
The
podcast, it's 17.
We need, so new intros.
Yeah.
So Gabe, do your own intro.
No. I'm in high school. I'm rebellious. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, what a hype man. No, like totally.
We're basically Life is Strange in real life right now.
Where the hell's the next episode?
Coming out soon, man. Gotta be patient.
Listen, they're about to make season 2/expansion or whatever it was.
Right, they're working on Sparky the Vampire.
They haven't even finished the first season yet, but they're talking about a sequel. Okay.
That's the MO of most games these days. Our MO, though, is big thanks. We got over 1,000 reviews in the first week since we relaunched the feed. Thank you so much for all of your support. If you don't know, we had to relaunch the feed on iTunes. There was a bunch of errors, but we're back and in business. We reached the #1 spot for games and hobbies, and we even cleared to the new and noteworthy page for all podcasts. Thanks to you guys for your epic support. Still, go ahead and review the iTunes podcast if you haven't already. You can enter to win a brand new console, and we will probably love you for almost forever if you do.
For almost forever.
Almost.
Like, we'll love you for, like, a good few decades, and then after, it's just, like, that's it.
You gotta leave the
approaching
opening
forever.
Right, you gotta leave the opening for a soulmate encounter. Like, I don't wanna sell away all my love too soon.
Just in case Taylor breaks up with what's-his-face.
Calvin Harris? Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Wait, she's dating Calvin Harris?
Yeah.
They're now the richest couple in entertainment.
For now.
Makes
It'll last
sense.
like 2 months, and Taylor Swift is going to make a new album about him. It'll be all right.
Yeah, she's like, I just need some research material.
Right, yeah, she's like, man, I'm all out of songs. I'm all out of lyrics.
Like, he was DJing my heart, and then it broke. Something like that, right?
You just wrote Taylor Swift's next hit single. Congratulations,
Hey,
Max.
she was telling us in Detroit that a lot of her songs she wrote at like 3 a.m. She woke up, couldn't go back to sleep, so she brought her keyboard into her room and was just messing around and getting in the zone.
That's fascinating.
I thought it was pretty romantic. What's also
no, she is very cool. She's a cool musician.
What's also romantic is that we're going to be talking about the best stuff of the first half of 2015. We've cleared out of June, so 6 months are done, and it's been a pretty good start. We've got a lot of your emails reflecting on what has been the best and the worst of the first half, and we'll give you ours as well, plus a little Batman talk, plus a little Splatoon. But first, I'm proud to introduce a brand new segment. I made this one myself. It's called...
This, of course, it has to debut on the inaugural episode 17. Like, we didn't wait for, like, a nice round number. Okay, here we go.
So this segment is called What's the World Smell Like? And we all have to describe what our world tastes like via our nostrils currently.
I can't play this game.
Gabe, why so rebellious?
I've told you this. I don't have a sense of smell.
So what does that smell like?
I don't know. Nothing.
What does nothing smell like, though?
Nothing. I don't know. I think he made this specifically to make fun of me. No, I don't believe that. No,
I really hope this has like a good segue towards something and not just like a random. Like...
No, this is random. I think.
Okay. Is it like to check if we've been bathed and stuff? Just like, have you taken a shower?
No, it's to bring the podcast into a multi-sensory experience for the viewers.
Wow. Okay, fascinating. Yeah, I feel like I sometimes practice to like like if you ever watch a Food Network show, the way they describe food.
Right.
It's like it sounds like the greatest thing ever. They're like the sensual experience, that crispiness balance, that just I guess that's what you're going for.
They're just making shit up half the time.
Yeah. Well, actually, I cleaned my room right before this,
nice.
So mine smells like really good. I have like an air freshener, so
what flavor is what flavor of freshness?
I think it's just the regular like Febreze thing. I'm a jig.
Just fresh flavor.
Yeah, fresh.
Nice.
Febreze.
Has Febreze reached damn near monopoly level? You know how like Band-Aids are not actually called Band-Aids, it's just a brand and that's what everybody calls them?
Kind of. I mean,
air freshener, I feel like everybody calls it Febreze. The other day, I was at a friend's house and he said, hey, hand me the Febreze. And I saw the air freshener. You mean the air freshener? He's like, yeah, the Febreze. I'm like, no, that's not Febreze.
Yeah. Well, it's a company that certainly knows how to monopolize their stuff. So,
my world.
Here we go.
It smells a little bit rotten. Well, maybe not rotten. Maybe that's a strong word.
Did you just did you just fart and you had some really
No,
bad teeth?
I ran late for the podcast because I was coming back from the
Okay.
gym playing basketball, and I didn't even have a chance to shower. I'm kind of sweaty, so now we can get into like what's the world feel like. We're just bringing in all the senses. Debuting next week, what does the world?
You
taste
just attracted like 100 million people to go watch the video, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm sweaty. I'm just like after the gym.
Yeah, we're doing. This is the shirtless podcast. Yeah. In case you guys didn't know, for all of you audio fans, you're missing out on the YouTube edition.
Or not.
Or not. But Gabe is wearing a Tokidoki shirt, so I mean,
Yes.
you are missing out on that.
Yeah.
One of the coolest
That does look
companies
pretty
around.
sweet. Yeah, I just actually recently bought a giant poster of like a whole bunch of Marvel characters in Tokidoki style.
Nice.
It's really awesome. So I want to get it framed, and I might actually put it like right there, so
That's a
you
good
might be
place.
able to see it pretty soon.
And then we can have what does the world look like, and before you know it,
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah, make one I can participate. This smell one. I just feel like you made this specifically so I can't participate.
I'm sorry,
So,
Gabe.
it's okay.
You're rebellious. You're different. And,
You have to teach me a lesson somehow.
And speaking of different,
Yes.
look at this segue right here.
Here we
Look
go.
at this right here. Listen, I just watched Lucy last night.
Oh.
Have you guys
Please-
seen that movie?
Please tell us that you didn't like it.
I did not dislike it.
Okay.
But I also, like, again, I don't think it's an amazing film, but I think it is really cool. Like, especially visually, it did, like, a lot of stuff very, very cool. Like, I love how they did all those, like, little splices to, like, metaphorically, like, when she's being, like, just at the beginning, how the lions are, like, hunting down the deer or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the deer, and they're, I don't know. Visually, it was really cool, and then it was just interesting from, like, a scientific standpoint, like, if your brain, like, could become more and more activated. I know that it is actually a myth about the fact that we only use 15% of our brain. It's way higher than that, but
Or that's what they just want us to think.
oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
The
Morgan Freeman
oppressors.
just set it all up.
Most people use 15% of their brains. The smart people, we
I
know
think
better
probably less. I think probably less.
than that.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a cool movie. I liked it. I thought it was really, really neat. The only thing is, I think it gets a little crazy.
Do you like when she turned into a flash drive?
Well, she doesn't. I think that they're trying to imply that, like, when you reach 100%, you, like, become God status or something. With, like, that email she sends, I'm everywhere or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. A little crazy at the end.
Speaking of crazy and Scarlett Johansson, which she's beautiful, by the way. Have you guys seen Under the Skin? That movie is crazy, and she's in it. She's a star of the movie. It's like the weirdest thing in the world. I can't even explain it. Like, honestly, I know it shows her naked a couple times. I know that.
That was the takeaway from the movie.
That's the only part. He's like, it's so crazy, bro. They show her naked so many times, man.
Nah, like, maybe it didn't help the way I saw it. I saw it with my 15-year-old brother, and I saw it with Lucy, and, they were talking during the movie, but this thing makes zero sense. She's not human or whatever. I don't know what she is, but she goes around in this van trying to get guys to come with her or whatever, and he takes them home, and she's just, like, walking in home. She starts taking off her clothes. They, like, start walking towards her. They sink into this, like, black pit of, like, goo. I don't know.
Is this a sequel to Lucy? Because there's a lot of black pit type things towards the end of that movie.
I don't know. Like, I heard that this movie was super cool. I didn't understand it. Maybe that was the point. I wasn't supposed to understand it. This thing ends.
You see,
in
it's
a weird
because
way.
you're only using like 15%, bro.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Get on her
Gotta
level.
get that
Gabe.
level up.
Yeah.
And speaking of crazy, Batman Arkham Knight, I think we should just touch on at the beginning. Gabe seems to be on this like offensive force of like it's not that great.
No.
I was reading through your Twitter conversations, and
Dude, yeah.
you're basically just like stop saying this game is great. It's not great.
No. No, but when you say this is perfect, like we could have easily gotten Caboose on here, by the way. But when saying, oh, like this thing's like so close to being perfect, I'm like, no, it's not. It's really, really not. Like, I get it. I get certain people's affinity with it. When and again, not to like stick with Caboose, but his channel has been this game for the last 6 months, so I get it. He has invested interest in the game. He's met the Rocksteady guys, and he says he considers them friends. So I see where he stands. But to say that this game has like no problems, that everything's perfect to you,
but to be fair, like every game is like that. Like there is no flawless games.
yes,
Except
and that's my
Evolve.
point.
Yeah,
And that's my point right there, Max. There is no flawless game. I'm not saying you can't love it. I love the game. I love the game quite a bit. But except that it does have things that, are less than ideal. And when you just refuse to do it and like, nope, it's perfect just because of whatever reason, all right, whatever. I take issue with that. It's my second favorite game of the year. I like it a lot, but it has issues. And that's my
So
only
wait,
thing.
It's ahead of Witcher officially now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hands down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm not backing down from that Witcher stuff.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I think that Batman Arkham Knight, first of all, it's gotten better for me as I've gone along, which is impressive, instead of worse. And second of all, I think it makes a lot of other games look really bad. Like, I think the polish level, their fine-tuned mechanics combined with their world, combined with their plot, combined with the seamless no loading, combined with all the missions, combined with the interface, it just makes a lot of other games like, why can't they do this? Like, why can't every game be at this caliber? You know what I mean? Like,
You're expecting a little bit much there. Because this is, an amazing game. Why can't every game be at this caliber?
I just think it makes other games look poor in comparison, and it's hard to then go from like a game like this to whatever we play next and be like, wow, that because they legit nail so many of the criteria, at least for me, that qualify and quantify like a great game, like mechanically, controls, combat, story, missions, length, dialogue, immersion,
I still take huge issue with the missions. That's an issue for me, at least. You guys still haven't finished the game, so I don't know how you guys are towards it. I was well on my way to 100%, but I know what the final ending is now, so I'm like, now I have zero incentive to do it. I still want to do it, but I don't know if I will. I think once you finish the game, some of the issues that I have, you might see where I'm coming from. You might not even agree, and that's okay, but I think at least you'll see where I'm coming from. Mm-hmm. How are you a lot further than you were before?
I'm a decent way further. I've been trying to organically splice in a bunch of the side stuff so it doesn't feel. I don't want to get to the end and just be like, Two-Face, me and you are having a 2-day relationship where we get everything done real quick. But I'm at the point now, story-wise, I'm trying to think of a way, I guess, without spoiling it.
Do you know who the Arkham Knight is?
I'm right up at that point.
Okay. Oh, you're I think, have you done the worst boss battle ever?
No.
Basically. No. Okay, it's coming. Okay. And it's not even, it's a vehicle boss battle. It's the worst. It's literally the worst. Okay.
I strangely have really liked the Batmobile all throughout. And I know it's like you're fighting the same kind of enemies over and over again, but it's just enough tweak of a change of pace. And I actually like that battle mode so much where I was in the underside, the parking garage of Wayne Tower. You're meeting Lucius, and there's literally 25 tanks in an enclosed small space, and there's just red lines everywhere. And it seemed like the stupidest thing, but I had so much fun just dodging and firing and flipping and shooting the missiles and launching the cannon and then charging up my attack. I don't know. There's something.
Yeah, it feels like a game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the fun part about it. That's why I don't know. I've read so many of the. It seems to me generally speaking. I've looked again. Maybe I'm being too blanket statement here, but from what I've seen, looking over some of the reviews that have been very, very negative and critical, to the point to say it's a bad game or
shout out to Jim
mediocre. Sure, a lot of people point out the Batmobile as the sole reason for the game being awful.
Right.
That's not. Yeah.
And
yeah.
to
that's
me,
blanket statement. Though.
What? Yeah, but I don't know. That's a lot of the reviews focus on that heavily. They'll mention stuff it's a lot of the same villains and some of it feels a bit repetitive, but most of their text is fully focused on the fact that the Batmobile is overused and the fact that it's not fun and the fact that it's all that. And to me, I'm are we driving the same Batmobile? And are we I don't know, because to me, again, I have no issue because I feel everybody has the freedom of discretion to say you like it, you don't like it. Same way that I think The Witcher is not particularly great, somebody else could say that's the greatest role-playing game we've ever gotten. I mean, I think it's still the highest reviewed game of this year, other than GTA 5, which again I guess shows what is the best so far, but we'll get to that discussion eventually. But yeah, to me, I don't know, I feel the Batmobile, we talked about it last week a bit, the sound design, just to me, I feel awesome when I'm in that thing. I feel I'm driving a tank and I'm just wrecking. I love the fact that when you take corners, you always kind of swing yourself in. It kind of gives you that weight. When you're bumping against buildings or barricades, they all just shatter because of just how powerful this thing is. I don't know. To me, it's a ton of fun to drive, and I've not gotten bored of it. And I think that the tip I would give everybody is what you said, Zach, is try to do some of the other missions as well. Mm. Don't just focus on just the narrative. Like, kind of like open up that HUD and how you have that wheel and kind of just like be like, okay, I want to do one of these or one of these and then one of these. And I feel like if you play it like that, then it doesn't become so repetitive.
That is how I played it, though.
I don't know. To me, I feel like that's the way to.
But and to
not
your
make it repetitive.
to your defense, I think, and I think this is maybe why I feel the way I finished it in a day and a half. So if I'm sitting there for long periods of time, and I'm like, hey, I just had this same exact encounter with the Batmobile like an hour ago, and I just did this. So maybe you take the breaks and you come back to it the next day, and you're doing it, and you had done it previously the previous day. I think that maybe is a little bit easier to deal with. I wish I would have spaced it out a little bit more, but I didn't. And but I think this one boss battle that I'm thinking about, it's like sort of unanimously hated. I haven't seen a single person say this is a good boss battle. Do you have to do like very precise driving with the Batmobile? And if not, it's instant death, which leads to a loading screen, which means to the restart of the boss battle. And that one's not super good. I haven't seen a single person say like, I'm curious. Have you done it maybe, Max, or no?
No. I know which one you're talking about, though, because, like, again, people have spoiled it for me. I know what you're talking about, and I've heard about it, so I'm looking forward to see it because, like, I know a lot of people have also complained with several of the Riddler races. Like, a lot of people don't like that.
I was going to say, that's like one of my favorite parts. Even the one Gabe was talking about last week, like lowering yourself down to the pit.
Yeah.
I found that, like, incredibly fun.
Yeah, I find that, they're interesting, right? But
I have so much fun with them. I feel like in Arkham City, it was so much more annoying to go for trophies, where you had to do those like line launching things, or like you remember the one where you have to be like touch this touchpad, and while you have 7 seconds to get to the next one, and then you have to line launch across to the other one, and then you have to batarang the third, and it was like, geez, like this is not fun. It's
fun
just
fact,
you're just forcing you to do crazy.
There's so much variety though with those Riddler trophies. There's Arkham Asylum style, just like Riddle in a room. There's Arkham City style, like the weird dexterity puzzle type stuff. And then there's these new Batmobile ones. And like all of that stuff, especially the Catwoman stuff, like those co-op puzzles, I almost wish they would spawn that into a downloadable $20 game where like you and a partner, there's like a little chapter of Catwoman and Batman and Robin and Batman and Nightwing and Batman, and do like those co-op puzzles. That's frankly like one of my favorite parts, even though they're kind of like cheesy, like the one with Catwoman and Batman where you're walking them across the like electric floor and you have to like keep switching back and forth to like
those are very cool.
That's like just like a really cool idea and gives you a different way to utilize a character action like genre. I think they just do such a good job of taking advantage of like, hey, we can do some platforming, we can do some combat, we can do some driving, we can do some puzzle solving, and they manage to keep it, if you do jump around and probably play it over a longer stretch than you did, Gabe, like to me it feels like one of the most fully fleshed out games I've ever played in that sense.
Yeah, I will say the one thing is like that a little bit lacking, at least in the early part of the game so far. Like, again, I'm still not super deep into it, but I think that there has not the boss battles I really like some of those boss battles from like Arkham City and Asylum. Like I've not had that moment yet of like a cool boss battle like against a Killer Croc or Bane or something like that, you know what I mean?
They don't exist in this game.
I've heard about that.
Boss battles in this game are specific to Batmobile. So
yeah, it would be really cool if there was some of those. Like I would love if with those side missions, like with Firefly and such, maybe you have a few, like 1, 2, or 3, or whatever it is, of those repetitive missions or like similar ones, and then at the end you would get like a boss fight against them. I wish that that's how they would have adapted it, but I don't know. Maybe it's something that they are planning to do with DLC. You know, like with the more.
Because they have the Season of Infamy thing coming, whatever that's going to be. They haven't really given much detail. Did you guys see the leak, by the way? There's a leak explaining what all the DLC is going to be. Like it was in the PC files and they dug it up, so they already know what the Barbara DLC is going to be. Like they already said what it's going to be, and I don't want to spoil it here, but it sounds cool. I think the idea is very, very cool. As long as it's not like 10 minutes, like the Red Hood one, because the Red Hood one's literally like 15 minutes.
But it was free, wasn't it?
Pre-order exclusive type stuff.
Oh, okay.
I do think though, and maybe it's because of the Batmobile and the flying being so freaking fast, I love how organic everything feels. I'll just come upon one of the APCs running away, or I'll come upon one of the defuse the bombs, or one of the strongholds, or a Riddler. Like, it feels organic in the way that I stumble upon things. It's not a lot of like, well, point A to point B. Let me spend the next 5 minutes, riding my roach horse all the way across the map, or driving my GTA car to the other place. I don't have like hardly any downtime. Either they smartly place things in the way, whether it's a Riddler informant or a side mission. There's like virtually no time because of that Batmobile and because of the grapnel stuff where you're in like a neutral state. You're always in action, which I think is really effective at keeping the pace, fun throughout. I'm also just still impressed that there's no load screens. I mean, I know when you die, but indoor environments, outdoor environments, all the detail, the cutscenes, different characters, the Batmobile, not Batmobile, like that's, and it looks great. It really does.
I think it's a great game. But I think maybe we should talk about it a little bit more once you both finish it.
Okay.
I think that's the next time we should revisit Batman, because I'm curious what Max is going to think. I mean, he knows who the Arkham Knight is and everything, and we talked about it specifically on that episode, so we won't get into it here. But I still feel pretty let down by that, and there's people that are very apologetic about it, like, oh no, this is the way they wanted to do that story. I'm like, no, shut up. Like, we were lied to.
Yeah, that I agree with. Because I went back and I did find the interview where like they did say, oh no, it's a new character that we've created for the game, and it's like, well, technically yes, it's a new character, but it's not really, because
and
it's
they asked
an
specifically,
existing character.
Is it this person? And then instead of saying like, well, we're not talking about it, like they're like, no, it's not that, we promise. Like, stop lying. And that's the thing I take issue with, I guess, being lied to. I don't like being lied to. Don't lie to me, Zachary.
Can Ubisoft borrow the control designers from this game? Because how come Batman never has issues with ledges, never has issues with dropping down, and Altair, Ezio?
Because Batman gets delayed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That like it's incredible how like this game has so many ledges, so many little platforms, all that same stuff, and yet you feel in total control, and then you go play AC, and you're like, this guy's drunk.
Because Rocksteady cares. By the way, Rocksteady didn't make the PC port, so for those of you complaining, oh, if Rocksteady cared, they wouldn't have done that on PC.
Did you read the articles where they said that they
People are
knew?
calling them rock, not steady.
Did you read the articles though where they said that they've known about it for months? Warner Brothers knew, and
they
still
had to have known, dude.
willingly.
It's a giant mess. I mean, like the fact that they thought, like, to me, I think the PC audience is the one that's the smartest. Like, again, without insulting but what I mean is like because they're the most informed.
Sure.
So I feel like when you give them a product, it has to be like on par and like have all those things like working. So it was just surprising that not only did they know, but they knew so far ahead, and they still went ahead with it. And I guess thank God for Steam refunds, because lots of people are taking advantage of that. So,
all right, a little bit of Splatoon love for this week. I played the new tower control mode. I do think it's impressive. We talk about value. That game has been pumping stuff in every couple days. It feels like new weapons, new maps, and now finally a new mode.
I was gonna ask something about that, by the way.
Right now?
Yeah, now.
Okay.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Right now. Go for it, Gabe.
Okay. Are you cool with the fact that all this is on a disc and it's being, trickled out? Because this isn't like DLC per se. It's on the disc already because you're not downloading anything. Like the new mode, all these new games, they're on the disc. They're just locked off until they decide to put them out. Like, are you okay with that?
Me personally, yes, because I feel like it makes things more exciting and more interesting that way. For example, if all the modes were there at the start, sure, that probably would be better, I guess. But for me, like having, again, like gaming by appointment, we've talked about it. I love the fact that I can come back, Wednesday at 10 p.m. and be like, hey, there's a new mode. It makes things exciting. It keeps it eventful, and it almost makes me have like dates with Splatoon. Whereas if it was all there at the start, I don't think you would keep the player base as invigorated. And with their events like the Splatfest stuff, that's on the disc, but that also is just a way for them to generate, buzz and player base. So it's a little
free.
weird, but
that's the other thing you have to remember. It's free DLC, so it's like they're not really charging you. I think it's brilliant from the standpoint of guns and accessories. I'm okay with that. Game modes, I think, should have been there to begin with, because I think that it would be nice to be able to have access to that right off the bat and not have to wait this long. But I think they could get the same kind of excitement and everything with doing the guns thing, like where every few weeks you're like, hey, here's a new map, or here's a new gun, or here's a new clothing attire that you can get by reaching by getting this many splats on this map or something like that, you know? I think that's something that I would prefer more so. The one thing I will say is that Nintendo once again does a weird thing with the ranked battles where now it's locked to be either this tower game or Splat Zones.
So weird.
Which is so strange because why don't you just let me choose? Like, why am I not allowed to pick? Like, hey, here's this tower playlist and then here's the Splat Zones playlist. Why do I need to wait every 4 hours? Like, that's taking dating a little too much and too far. So that's like a really needy girlfriend, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to have the maps rotate, but then to like have the modes be like, well, I'm not playing for the next 4 hours because it's not the mode I wanted to play. Strange. The mode itself is really cool, I think. I've seen a lot of negativity around it because it's mass chaos. Basically, there's a tower in the center, and you need to have one of your team members on that tower in order for it to move towards the opponent's base. There's a meter in the center, and as you get closer, that meter ticks down from like 100 to 0. If no one reaches the base, then whoever got the farthest will win. So that meter only ticks down when you reach the farthest point and then go beyond. It creates a really interesting dynamic because it's the only mode where covering the ground means nothing, right? So it's all about controlling that tower and killing guys. So it's a lot more focused on weapons and special abilities that are good at taking dudes down. And I feel of all the modes, this one's going to benefit the most from having that eventual matchmaking, like parties and stuff, because we could get in a situation where it's like, okay, 2 of us are going to stand in front of the tower and clear the path while 2 are up above firing farther, or let's all bail off the tower, go into their base, kill them so they all hit the respawn timer, jump back on the tower. Like, you could plan a lot of strategic things that way. In its current state, it is a little bit hectic, but I almost kind of like that it feels like a totally different mode, as opposed to Splat Zones is still like Splatoon, just now in a limited little rectangle. And here it's like, no, you got to go kill guys. And like, for example, the bubbler is
Splat Zones, you kill guys a lot.
Yeah, but
I feel like Splat Zones was that's why they're both in the ranked category, I think, is because they do have, like, both of them prioritize killing your enemy much more so than Turf Wars.
Sure.
For sure.
This one's just even higher. I mean, everyone was getting like, 9 kills, 8 deaths, 10 kills, 15 deaths. There's just a lot of chaos because you're just throwing yourself at this tower. I don't know. I thought it was really fun, and it's now a good reason to come back. Again, weird that you can't pick what mode you want to play. Have you guys seen the NX rumors that came out this week? There were 2 in particular.
The fact that they're going to be developing in October for a 2016 launch.
Yeah, and supposedly they already approached a bunch of like third parties at E3 this year about it. And then the very specific rumor was that they plan to ship 20 million in 2016.
Good luck.
Wait, ship?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's great.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think the implication is that they would sell them, but
well, that's funny.
If the thought there, like the NeoGAF discourse was like, maybe they really are going to launch a handheld and a console at the same time, and then it would be viable to ship, 16, 17 million
like
handhelds
$200,
and 3 million consoles.
Yeah, but then you just put out the new 3DS, so where does that go? That has one exclusive game.
Yeah, I think that's totally a flopped project. They have no other games. They announced none at E3 for it. I think that's just like been trashed, honestly, which is embarrassing, but yeah.
So this is like really like a hybrid handheld console that could be cool, but there's also those rumors that this like you control it with your tablet and stuff. Like,
I think this is definitely a handheld and a home console that connect together.
Yeah, I think at this point there's been like too many rumors of that for them to be just rumors. Where there's smoke, there's fire. I think enough people have said, like, this is going to be some sort of thing that combines the two things together, and this whole going forward with, like, DNA, sorry. And this whole new thing that they're working on is kind of almost like foreshadowing of what this project will be. Yeah. I think that people who are jumping the gun and like, oh, no, Nintendo's going to make only mobile games are getting a little too ahead of themselves. I still think they're going to do, like, console quality experiences, but I guess only time will tell, because, again, with them, for better or for worse, you never know what may happen. Like, you think that up to the last moment, it's like, this is it. This is what it's going to be. And they come out and they're like, guys, we're doing the Wii Z.
Yeah.
The only thing you can count on, though, is that they have a lot of pride and they view themselves very highly. So to just dip out of the video game space and be like, well, we're just making stupid mobile games, like, I don't see that happening at all.
No.
They still view themselves as, like, I mean, look how they spin the Metroid thing. Reggie said the reason people don't like Metroid yet is because they haven't played it, which is like the most goofy thing you could say.
Reggie's a character. Like, I don't even think that man is what the Reggie that we think. Like, I think he goes home and he just hates what he does.
No.
He's got like posters of Mario that he throws darts at. He's like, oh, that would be interesting if that was the case. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because it's like when the Nintendo comes out and says something like this, like weird and strange, it's like people are like, well, it's just Nintendo. Like, we've come to be used to it.
The designer for Metroid Federation Force said that he didn't want it to be like Halo and have an abundance of enemies, so there's not going to be very many enemies, so you have more time to learn the controls, which is... I don't even know how you interpret that comment.
Yeah, like...
Well, you interpret it just like that. Either the controls are so complicated, which, by the way, then is not a good thing.
It's on the
like,
3DS.
Why would you tell me, like, hey, listen, we made the controls so complicated and frustrating, most likely, if they're that complicated, that we're going to only give you, like, 3 enemies to fight per level, because... Otherwise, you're gonna hate us. Trust me.
It's very weird.
Did you see the Zelda thing? The Zelda thing. Huh.
About why you can't be a girl?
Yeah, because the story. So there's a story in Triforce Heroes of some kind, because it said, "Hey, the story doesn't
allow it, man."
Yeah, we can't be a girl in our story. Get out of here. Okay. I just thought that was cool.
All that stuff is kind of silly at a point.
You know what? It was cool. I thought it was really cool that they said, "You can't be a girl. Get out of here."
No. I thought it was cool that there was a story in that game. Period. But yeah.
Well, yeah, it's very cool to see a story. We'll see what kind of story.
It's Zelda. It's the
same
I
know
story.
It'll be.
It's the same story every time.
Save it all again.
And I love Zelda, but it is the same story every time.
I just wonder about the Wii U game, like, because they're making open world, like. Is the reason for the delay really the NX, which I believe it to be, or is it like they tried to make this open world game, and since they've never done one, they're like, oh shit, this is absolutely horrible. Like, we have all these like fetch quests, all these side missions, none of them work, none of them make sense, and we got to go back and I just really wonder what that game will be. But yeah, if the NX launches in 2016, put your money on Zelda being a cross-platform release.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any chance it comes to NX first, and then they do a Wii U release?
No.
Like, what are we talking? Like, oh, it launches in October for NX and November for Wii U?
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't think
they
so.
did that with Super Smash Bros. They blew our minds by putting Smash Bros. Out first.
Because I think the problem is, if they do it the other way around, very little people are going to be incentivized to buy an NX.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know, because it's like, Zelda would be like, there's so many Zelda hardcore, diehard fans who would be like, I can't wait a month. Like, sure. I just need to buy this new console to play it. So I could totally see them doing that. Like, being like, hey... Here you guys go. If you want to play the new Zelda, it's out in October on a new console. There's 20 million at your Best Buys.
They would get bashed for that, but at the same time, like, for example, Last Guardian, they're like, oh, we pushed that back to PS4 to make it happen, and people are like, okay, we'll buy a PS4 for that. So if they make it, whatever, like, they got to be smart business-wise and do what they got to do, and if that gives an install base...
Well, when has Nintendo ever been smart business-wise? Lately.
With the handhelds, they're pretty good, but,
except with the new 3DS.
They kind of just follow the beat of their own drum, which in a way is like a beautiful thing that we're in a world where we have companies that definitely are out for... profit and catering, and then we have companies
they're all
that
out for profit.
Well, I know, but...
If you're saying that they're not out for profit, you're kidding yourself.
Yeah, but look at...
If you went to Reggie, Miyamoto, any one of them, and you're like, listen, guys, I know you don't care about profit, right?
But look at like Star Fox, whatever that's called, Air Force One Hog or whatever. Zero. Okay.
I've tried.
I don't think that game is out for profit. Like, that feels like Miyamoto wanted to make it. That game isn't going to sell hardly any copies.
I know, but the thing is, the reason why it looks the way it looks is because it's out for profit. Because if they made it look any better, it would be too expensive, and
but don't you feel like a little bit like they just do what they want? Like, there's so many obvious things that they could do to make more money.
Sometimes. I mean, it depends, because you see, the problem is, like, when people say, like, oh, they could just do all these things that could make them a lot more money. Like, people say, oh, they could just become, like, only make games and forget about consoles. Maybe, but I also feel like, I think that the Nintendo cachet, or like their value as a brand with gamers, is lower and lower. Like, I think that there is very few gamers that have that kind of soft spot for Nintendo as much as they used to. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people have gotten over them being gaming. Like, for many years it was like Nintendo, you associated, like, they were the brand for gaming. Like you would say, hey, can I get a Nintendo, Mom? You know, like you wouldn't say, hey, can I get a NES or SNES or whatever. Like you would just say Nintendo.
A Sega Master System.
Yeah. That's a good joke. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like they're in a weird position. I think that the NX is going to be a very big kind of like fork in the way. You know, I think that this is kind of like, we'll see after the NX what happens. Like I hope that they are as successful as possible and they like
make a million more amiibos.
I just meant like they could have done like Mario Kart 9 and Metroid and made a heck of a lot more money than Mario Tennis and Star Fox.
So. Yeah, but the problem with this is like, you see, there's a reason why they don't make as many Mario Karts. Like I think if Mario Kart became yearly or Smash became yearly, the review scores for that game would go down very quickly.
How can you say that Forza can be annualized but Mario Kart can't?
Because Forza deals to like a different audience. Like because Forza deals to the people who are like, oh, I want to see the new car models for this year, and I want to see the new Ford GT, and I want to see. Yeah. Whereas like with Mario, you're not like, oh, I really want to see what Mario drives in 2017.
I mean, I'm like that, but I'm a rare breed. My only hope for the NX is that it comes out in a bunch of sexy colors. Like I want like caramel coffee. I want like lemon lime.
You remember those see-through colors for the 64 controllers, like that green one?
And I also remember the Nintendo Power article when they announced the Wii U and they showed a lime green, a red, a blue, like all these colored consoles, and then we just got white and black.
Well, didn't we get a red?
You have a red mini in your territory. Or
I know.
Do we have that too?
Yeah, but we also did. Wasn't there a red Wii U?
No.
For Mario Edition.
No, the only there's only the black Wii U and the white Wii U.
Or is that a Wii? That was the Wii, wasn't it? The red Wii.
Yeah, there was
Mario
a red Wii.
Edition. Yeah,
bring back Rumble packs. Bring back expansion packs.
Bring back cartridges.
Just bring back the Power Glove. Let's do it all.
Yeah.
Virtual.
Now, all that's in the future, Zach. But this year.
Oh, it's all in the past too.
Gabe, what a freaking segue there. Let's talk a little bit about the 6 months that have been 2015. I thought the way we would do this is just kind of talk about some of our favorite games, and then let's just throw in like our biggest surprise, biggest disappointment.
Are we going to pepper in some emails?
Yes, we'll pepper in some. We'll pepper in some emails. I will pull those up right this moment. And
as you do that, I guess Gabe, you could start us off. What's one of your games that you've enjoyed in the past 6 months? Now, again, guys, so we're counting from January to the end of June. So Batman is included there. That's why we waited the extra week.
Okay, so question: you said what are we doing? Biggest surprises first? What are we doing?
Whatever.
Or just one of my
whatever you feel.
I'll throw out my favorite. I'll throw out my favorite game of the year.
Okay.
Right?
Ooh.
Ori and the Blind Forest. Like
Ori who?
Ori, the best game of the year, is what it is.
Oh, okay.
It is what you kids might refer to as the GOTY or GOTY. GOTY. I don't know how you pronounce it.
GOTY. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. That's that game right there.
What are you saying?
Game of the year.
Okay.
GOTY.
Okay.
You got it?
Acronyms.
Yeah,
I got it.
All right, just making sure. Yeah, I love that game so much. That is the only game above Batman for me this year.
That's absolute lunacy, but all right.
Why?
Because a game that has...
I love how Zach throws that kind of comment. It's like the most like jab kind of comment, and then he just like backs up. Like it's almost like if you're walking through just a crowd and somebody just hits you with a right hook, and then just goes like, "I didn't do it."
No, but we have seen Zach's right hook at this point, and let me. No, I'm not gonna get into it, but go ahead. What? What about?
That's
what
like
about
here's my equivalent, right? Okay.
Okay.
Gabe, this is my analogy. I know you guys love my analogies. They're always on point. They always make sense. So,
okay.
That's why we're here.
And I'm trying to try to say this without being insulting, but I have to say it because it's what I'm thinking about. If
Don't you say Final Fantasy VII.
No. If you have a 400 square foot house that is organized and nice and neat, and you've got like a little display of figures and some cute pictures of your fam on the wall, and you've got like muffins baking in the oven and a happy little wife.
You said 400 square foot,
yeah,
right?
Real small, right? Hold up.
Yeah,
okay,
that's small.
okay,
that's
so
like a room.
Yeah, so but it's pristine, it's perfect, it's nice.
Okay.
And then you have a mansion that may not be as clean. There's messes here. The muffins are burning in the oven, but you got a pool, you got a movie room, you got an arcade. And then here comes Gabe saying that he would pick the 400 square foot house because it's like so refined. Like, I just don't see how you can say that the scope of Ori can in any way earn it a Game of the Year award.
First of all, I didn't say the scope of Ori earns it that at all.
But a game of the scope of Ori.
then you're gonna be mad at my other games too, because Axiom Verge is a fucking gem.
Gabe,
Wow.
I think Gabe is really like 70 years old, and he's like just stuck in the future.
Dude, Ori and the Blind Forest plays immaculately.
It's a great game for a $20 downloadable title.
Yeah, and that's what it is. So
Right.
that's what I'm.
So it's
treating it
downloadable of the year for you?
as. It's game of the year. I don't care if it's downloadable or not.
It's the best gaming experience that
Okay.
you had this
All
year.
right.
So far.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I've played every major release, including Splatoon, including Batman, including The Witcher, Ori and the Blind Forest. Look, the amount of time that I put into it was given back to me in spades. I had so much fun with that. Not one point in that game did I sit there and think, oh, I wish they would have done this differently, or oh, I wish the Batmobile wasn't in this, or oh, I wish Roach wasn't.
Because the scope is so limited. All you do is jump and run.
No, you do more than that.
And press X a bunch of times to shoot out orbs of doom.
You do more than that. Okay.
Oh, you
The
you slide on the wall so that you can double
Yeah, you
jump.
have to do the little gliding thing too.
Yeah, you glide. But dude, that game's beautiful. Like, what is there not to like about the game?
It's
Besides
great.
the fact
It just reminds me of the Gone Home game of the year discussion, which pissed me off to no end. That
So besides that, this is a small game, which that seems to be your issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
That this game, the scale of it isn't there for a game of the year. Besides that, what's wrong with it? The music is cool. Like that game touched my heart in ways that you will never know.
I think it's fantastic, and I'm glad you love it.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about just the beginning of the game. The ending of that game is so great, so great, and you don't know because you didn't finish it because it's not a mansion.
Right?
Zach was in the pool. He couldn't hear
Yeah,
you.
I
He
was
was
like,
dying.
Too busy swimming
Yeah.
in my rock cove over here.
Yeah. And, see, to me, right, a $20 downloadable game isn't any less than $60 full retail. Like, I'm not segregating video games like that in my mind.
I don't know. It's weird. You see, you get into weird territory, in my opinion, because it is kind of strange. Because I feel like, even subconsciously, like if Ori came out and was like, "Hey, this is a $60 game," would you feel the same about it?
Yeah, but it's not. So I don't.
No, but that I know. But this is what I mean. Is like so.
Oh,
Then
I would still think
so
it's-
then cost is important. It's
No.
just because you put a different standard to which you evaluate. It's like saying, okay, I'm going to spend $20,000 on a car, right? Like you could get like a Toyota or a Honda, or if you spend $100,000 for a car, where your expectations are of like an Audi or Mercedes, or like your expectations are different of that product. So I feel like that is certainly the case. Like you do have a different expectation of a $20 game.
This is dumb, and this is just me. If I would gladly pay $60 for Ori. Me. Okay, I realize that's not a $60 game. I get it. But if I had paid $60 for it, I wouldn't be upset at all. Dude, the game is...
And you would still consider it the game of the year.
Yes, this is the game.
Okay.
I'm not factoring the price. Like, this is my game of the year.
To me, it's more like just what it tries to accomplish that to me holds it back. Like, it's still great, but it's like, say you had a girlfriend and all you did with her was go to the movies and like she kissed great and she looked good and you like fed her popcorn and it was a 10 out of 10 experience. But then you had to go, it's gonna make sense, it's gonna pay off.
Yo, but
hold up.
You fed her popcorn? What is she, a pet? You're like, here you go.
She doesn't have arms.
And then,
she doesn't have arms.
And
She
then
only
you
costs
have
$20.
a girlfriend who like you do everything with, and you're gonna tell me that like somehow the girl who you only go to movies with is better because it's a perfect experience, and yet like the girl who you do everything with, there's not like it's not a 10 out of 10, it's like a 9.3. But like comparing those two scopes is insane because like you're going to the beach, you're falling asleep, you're visiting your in-laws, you're making cookies, you're
a much wider range of experiences.
Yeah, and so to me, it's like I love Ori. I thought it was fantastic, and I did think it was great in every way that it tried to do. But it's like if you try to do 3 things, should you be compared to a game that tries to do 25?
And here's the thing.
That's an interesting point.
And no, it's not.
It's not interesting,
point.
Max.
It is a good point because if
Max,
you think about
Max,
it, it is.
Max,
Look,
correct
if
me
you're
if
doing,
Max.
but if you're doing one experience, it's much easier to get everything right about one experience than it is to get everything.
All right,
right.
let me say what I want to say. Max,
Okay,
you can correct me if I'm wrong because I remember this very vividly.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I was wrong with the whole flashback Batman thing.
Okay.
I'll take that L. But Zach has made this exact point on the opposite end. He has said, almost verbatim, he has said, oh, would you rather have a lot of shitty food or would you rather have this tiny
Oh
portion
yeah,
of a
yeah, he has said that
He
before.
used the
Yeah.
exact same argument.
It's
And so now he just
on a
flipped
different-
it.
No, but
it's a different plane,
the
though.
difference there is that he said there that it was a lot of shitty food. Like here, it's still good experiences. They're just not perfect.
Not to him. The Witcher's not a lot of good experience to him. Dying Light's not a lot of good experience to him.
Yeah, but we're not.
Like-
We're talking about like specifically your 1 and 2, which was Batman and Ori.
Okay. Yeah, but to me they're like so different. Like,
They are, and that's what I'm saying.
yeah. If I could experience either of the two all over again, I hands down pick Ori.
By the way,
Hands
guys,
down.
this is a bit of a preview for you guys for the end of the year. We're gonna have these debates because we've decided that we're gonna do like basically kind of what Giant Bomb does, where we discuss it down to one game, where we have to all uniformly agree.
You guys might have to give me sleeping pills or something.
I can't wait till Final Fantasy VII comes
Oh
out.
Jesus! Yeah, in 2026, I don't think we'll be
All
doing
right,
the
all
podcast.
right,
by
whatever.
then.
I picked Ori. You've bagged on me enough. Ori is a great game. The other day, I had two people ask me in the same day, which is weird. They asked me, "Hey, I have $20. I have an Xbox One and Steam. What do I get?" I told them, "Man, you're in for a treat. Go play Ori and the Blind Forest. My game of the year so far. I don't know. There's a lot of other stuff coming. So, dude,
Oh, it's gonna be Fallout. I can predict it right now.
you can't go wrong with Ori. You can't. I don't know how. I can't imagine who plays Ori and they don't like it. I know people who play Batman and they don't like it.
I know everybody probably under the age of like 13 that plays Ori and doesn't like it.
They'll like it.
Okay.
You don't know.
Christopher
Well,
likes,
I don't know anyone under the age of 13 who has played Ori.
Christopher writes in and says, my favorite game-related moment was this February, and this is kind of a sad moment. So we need to get really
Is it
serious.
Evolve or was
There's
that
a Dying
March?
No,
Dying
it's
Light.
legit serious. My favorite
okay.
game-related moment was this February. I was at a pawn shop and I found an original NES. I examined it and I saw a star with a smiley face drawn on it and realized that this was actually one of my friend's old consoles from when he and I were both kids because he always drew a star on his stuff because it related to his name. I purchased that console and walked out crying because he died last October from a drunk driving accident.
Oh man.
But that's a really cool story, though. He
crazy.
found an NES
Yeah.
of his childhood at a pawn shop, local pawn shop. I thought that was pretty cool.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to make light of the situation, but I feel like I need to because that's just so heavy, dude. Go play Ori and the Blind Forest. Pretend it's on NES, and that will bring a smile to your face. Sorry about your friend. Drunk drivers suck. They really do.
The pretending on the NES thing isn't too far off with the scope of that game, by the way.
Who cares, man?
All right, Max, throw something interesting.
No. I want to hear yours. I want to hear yours.
okay.
I want to make.
Well,
I wanna
I guess mine doesn't matter. Let's see.
No.
Okay,
no,
go ahead,
Max.
Zach.
Max,
Go
yours
ahead.
matters a lot, but the thing is, he just gets to tear down Ori, and I
Okay.
want to talk. I know it's one of these two stupid games. They're not even stupid. I like.
Okay, no, we need to let this bake for a little longer. Max, you got to go.
All right.
Okay. I think that for me, probably a game that I don't know why it seems like a lot of people have kind of stopped talking about is Bloodborne. I think that that's a weird game that has almost like had all this discussion of like, oh, this is the game of the year, and then now like a couple months later, it's like nobody's really talking about it in that scope. But for me, it's one of the very few games where I felt like it was purely driven by the game, like just the mechanics and like kind of like what makes a game without all the like a lot of the heavy plot or too many cutscenes or anything. Just purely based on the gameplay is what brings you back to that game over and over again. And I think that they nailed like the category that they're in. They nailed everything that they needed to nail. Like it was hard, but it wasn't infuriating to the point where you felt like it was the game's fault. I think to me, it was like the only time that ever was actually incentivized enough to play a game of this genre. I never was interested in like Dark Souls 1 or 2, but this one got me with its art style, the music, everything was just really, really cool, and it's definitely up there for me. We'll see. I mean, Batman might overtake it because I'm a huge Batman fan. We'll see, though I might be disappointed by the ending. I don't know. But for now, for these 6 months, this is the game that I'm like, okay, that was an incredible gaming experience.
Max, you just described Ori. You really did. As far like the difficulty, the gameplay only. Like,
Sure.
If I closed my eyes and you hadn't mentioned Bloodborne, you could have easily been talking about Ori. Just saying.
So we like it for
Bloodborne is awesome, dude. The Bloodborne. I forgot that it came out. I know there's an expansion coming, right? Like at
Yeah.
some point. It's this year, right? Expansion.
Yeah. Well, at least that's what they're saying. We'll see. Haven't talked about it. Well, I think we'll hear about it at the Paris Game Show.
Yeah. So I can't wait to maybe dive back into that. That's a very good game.
Bloodborne for me, like I would have thought that would have easily been mine, and I don't know. I guess I'm like a cute high school girl with a bad childhood. I get attached easily to stuff. And so, like, there's not a whole lot of attachment in Bloodborne. There's no storyline. There's no, like, memorable character. Yeah. So for me, I'm like, I really love that, but it doesn't stick out in my mind, I think, for those reasons. So I'm really torn between two, and it's not the two you think to be.
I know which ones they are. I can name them right now.
He's a liar.
Splatoon and Evolve.
It's Splatoon and Batman, to be honest.
Wow.
Evolve, okay. I named my Game of the Year 2014, so I don't feel guilty not bringing it up. And just for the sheer fact that it's caused me so much strife this year, like, I don't think there's ever been a game that I have argued with more people about than that. And, like, even to this day, like, gosh, like, people like Game Riot or whoever just, like, love to get under my skin about Evolve, no matter what. And the funny thing is that so many games do what Evolve does, but because it's not Evolve, like, no one cares. Like, people are so bothered still about these stupid skins that you don't have to buy. Like, that was such an offensive move. Whatever. I hope to God Battleborn succeeds for 2K, because they're putting out some good stuff, not named Grand Theft Auto, and they...
What did they just name Evolve 2 Grand Theft Evolve?
Yeah, I think it'll sell millions. I think the reason why you get so many arguments is because I don't think you get why people are mad about it.
Yeah,
you don't get why the skins are so offensive.
No, because it's not just the
It's
skin.
not that. It's the what that represents and the fact that the game had very little value to begin with. So then when you say, hey, and now buy 50 skins and stuff, I
guess my question I want to posit to the audience is, if there's a game like let's say Mario, okay? New Super Mario Bros., where basically you can move left, right, jump, and press run. And then there's a game, and that's let's say that's like 10 hours of that. And then there's a game like Evolve where you can do all these dynamic actions, but there's less content.
Yeah,
how do you compare that?
You're saying, you see, like, right away, it's already, like, you're biased even with your description. You're doing jump left, right.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's, again,
have you played some of the Mario levels? They're really dynamic,
it's just an interesting
and they're
thought,
really
like,
cool.
Do games' length and, like, amount of content, should it be related to what is happening and also the replayability of what is happening? I don't know, but I'm not even going to talk about that.
I say the same for Ori, and you said, "Oh no, the scope of that game's not."
No, because I said Ori would fall in the first category, which is like there's not a whole lot going on.
I don't agree.
Okay. Anyways, Splatoon. Let's talk about that for a brief moment.
So is that your pick?
No, I'm undecided. I still don't know. I haven't.
He hasn't finished Batman,
so it's really hard. And
it's the same as me. Yeah.
I didn't think Batman would even be in contention. I'm blown away by how much I love that game, and I guess it's just an ode to Rocksteady, honestly, because what they're doing isn't that much different from the past. It's just so. I think of all games, and people have said this before, so I'm not new with this, it makes you feel like you're part of that world and that character so well. And every action I do is true to that game and true to that character and true to that world and just makes good sense. But Splatoon, real briefly, just to give it a moment, what I like most about that game is that the idea is so simple, and yet for me it manages to be fun on every single replay. I know they're injecting new content, but nonetheless, they found a new style of multiplayer. They twisted up the shooter formula and made something that I think is very fun, and they found the ideal way to convey it.
I'm sorry, I just looked at Gabe's face.
They found,
and he's like, I'm waiting to make my point about this.
Honestly, I have no point. I agree with
3 minutes is like perfect, and I really just am so just immaculately in love with the fact that they took Squid Kids and turned it into this cool thing. And what impresses me the most is when I played that game at E3, I was like, this is kind of okay. And I looked at the kids and I was like, I don't know why they did this. And yet I've managed to really fall in love with the characters, the world, the gameplay. And that is a huge surprise and just like a good feeling when a developer says, like, trust us, and you don't. And then you're like, maybe, but it's, you know, what will it be like? And it comes out and it's really fantastic. And I am happy that game pushed 1 million so quickly, and I am happy that is a rare game that is like a baby game, and yet I feel like I can have conversations with peers about without getting the typical like flack of like it's Mario and colors and Peach. Like, that BS is not there. People do respect Splatoon as a pretty deep and hardcore multiplayer game, and that to me makes it all the more enjoyable. And just as a game itself, I think the single player is highly underrated. That final boss battle is possibly my favorite moment of the year, gaming-wise. I thought that just, like, integrating the boss into the level in such a way, and it just, like, kept going, and he's a DJ Octopus. Madness. So I really like that. Batman we've talked to death about, so I don't even need to mention it. But, yeah, I'm most surprised that Batman is that up there for me. Looking forward, I really don't know what will overtake those two, honestly.
Fallout.
I just...
Metal Gear.
No way.
Fallout and Battlefront.
And Metal Gear.
What about
Tomb Raider's coming. Halo's coming.
Oh yeah,
there's
Tomb Raider.
There's a lot of stuff.
That game's coming.
See,
yeah, it's just...
I just Batman also has me emotionally because of the Joker thing. Like that
Spoilers.
to me that like is the.
Do you know that a lot of people hate that? Like,
I know.
How could they?
He's
hate
so
that? How
annoying.
could
He's
they hate
so
that?
obnoxious. It gets in the way. It stops the
Yeah.
game. I hate listening to him. Like to me, that's the secret sauce that makes that game great.
Who said that? I haven't seen that.
I've seen
Dude, there's a lot
of
of people who
Yeah.
really they're like,
Wow.
I think it would be really cool if it was like once or twice, but they're like, he's way too often. To me, it's like when have you ever had a story, considering how many stories of Batman we've had, where Batman and Joker, except for maybe Batman Brave and the Bold, the animated cartoon series, where the Joker is Batman's sidekick, essentially. Like, that's just really cool. And I think that the way they do it is like in a dark tone and everything is really interesting. So, I don't know. But that's Batman. I think that for me, again, depending on the ending and everything, no matter what the ending is, I think it's definitely going to be up there for me just because of the experience so far.
I don't think you'll have an issue with the ending.
I just don't know if it'll be my game of the year. And we'll see. I mean, maybe as the experience goes on, it'll get better and better because it has so far. So if that continues, I could totally see Batman becoming a game of the year for me. But
All right.
Gabe, you name another one because I feel like we just named two back to back.
Yeah. Okay. I'll name two. Even though I'm not gonna get into length about this one, but Axiom Verge is really strong, and I know another indie game that's reminiscent of the past. It's a Metroidvania game. You guys don't care. I get it, but that game is as far as Metroidvania goes, best one in years. The other one I wanted to talk to about, I know Zach doesn't like at all, and I don't remember what you think about it, is Dying Light. Dying Light is cool. I like that game. I wouldn't put it anywhere near Game of the Year list or anything, but yeah, I thought that, to me that's a surprise. You said a game that surprised you this year.
Sure.
I think that one. The parkour is good enough. I played through the whole game co-op. Really fun stuff. The DLC is complete BS, so don't play that. But the actual main game, I grew to like that quite a bit. It's probably because I was playing it with friends. I don't know if I would have liked it as much if I was just playing solo the whole time. But I had a great time with that.
Do you think Dying Light holds up? Because we talked about way back then, about how this was such a surprise in January and such a solid game. Now that we've had a bunch more releases, is that still one of your highest recommendations for this year?
Yeah, it still holds up, especially because you can get it pretty cheap now.
Okay.
I don't think the game's selling for $60, so
sure.
If you can get it for let's say $40, $30, and you have a couple friends to play with it, that's a blast. And it's not a short game, so if you want a lot of content, it's there. It has a pretty generic zombie story or whatever, but the villain in that game, he's super fun. The parkour, awesome stuff. The competitive aspect of the co-op is also really fun, and top 10 for sure. As far as games, there hasn't been a whole lot of games this year. Is the other thing.
Really?
The quality's, dude. What other games came out?
I mean, we've.
I'm surprised you didn't name The Witcher yet.
A bunch.
Nah, I'm not gonna name The Witcher.
Wow, that much it's fallen.
I've fallen a little bit out of love with The Witcher. I'd rather just play Gwent. Let me just play Gwent all day.
Have you fallen out of love with it for the same reasons that me and Max did?
No.
What are your reasons?
My reason is that we went to E3 and I had to take this huge break. And coming back to a game like that after a week break is difficult because I don't necessarily remember what the hell's going on in the story. I was already a little bit confused just because it's a confusing story. So now I take a week off and I come back. I don't know what the hell's going on. I could just go and follow the waypoint and do whatever, but I could be playing it right now. I could play it, but
because the game its merit is based on that immersion. It's the mechanics aren't that great.
Yeah, and I think I fell out of it because I was gone for a week. So
Zach was like, I got him.
No.
I got him to admit it.
No, it is based on immersion. It's an immersive game. It's a cool world, but once you forget what the hell's going on in this world, I don't know.
Nick Wilbur writes in saying that I honestly thought so far the first half of 2015 has been pretty darn good. I definitely think we've had some fairly well-received games. Splatoon, Mortal Kombat 10, Batman Arkham Knight, Lego Jurassic World, Majora's Mask 3DS, Evolve, and a few others. His biggest disappointments were Monster Hunter 4 and Mario Party 10. But most of all, he says, shockingly, his biggest disappointment came from E3, as his two favorite companies, Nintendo and Ubisoft, did an unsatisfying job.
Ubisoft had a strong show, I think.
You think so?
Strong enough. I'm excited for For Honor. Like, I think that's gonna be cool. It's gonna be very cool.
Yeah, a lot of people who played that game have said like really, really positive things about it. Like people are saying like it's really, really, really fun.
It is.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know. It's good. I think we've had a solid year so far. I think the
so,
problem is like a lot of people like think of the fact like if you only think AAA, then yeah, maybe like there hasn't been a lot of big hitters. But I think that next year, the first half of the year is going to be, if nothing gets delayed, it's going to be a monstrosity. Like, we're going to get so much stuff. It's insane. So, maybe a lot of people are kind of also thinking about that. But typically, the first half of the year is not supposed to be very strong. Like, typically, it's the fall window is when we get all the big hitters. So,
I still think the first half of this year is way stronger than the second half of last year. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Oh,
with
yeah,
you.
Hands down, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to throw something out there as big as disappointment, and I want to see what you guys think. Even though I like the game a lot more than everyone else in the world, The Order, that game came out and I played it and I enjoyed it, but people were really pissed. Like, similar to Evolve, the press killed that game. I think that game deserved to do better than it did, but I can also see where people are coming from. 5 hours of gameplay, $60, but now that game's. It has a permanent price drop already. I saw it for like $30 the other day on Amazon.
It was $20 on Amazon for a while, yeah.
Yeah, so, man. What are you guys thinking as far... I want to hear what's your biggest disappointment, guys. Do you guys have one?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Say it.
I mean, real quick on The Order. I think The Order wasn't... I never expected The Order to be great. I remember talking about even last year, like, The Order is going to flop. And then it kind of... I thought it was kind of okay. I didn't think it was great, but for $20, that's a great PS4 game because it looks beautiful and you'll have a good short experience, especially if you're waiting for Uncharted. It kind of is, in a weird way, reminiscent. My biggest disappointment is by far The Witcher 3. I played an hour and a half of that at PAX
you were really hyped
East,
about
and
that game.
I was super high on it, yeah. And I guess in like a short burst, I had so much hope that the story would grab me and that the side quests would be so involved, and then when I played the full game and I could not even care less, or I always screw this up. I couldn't care less about the storyline, and the missions felt so plain and the mechanics weren't that great. There was nothing really grabbing me except the hope that it would get better, and when I realized it didn't, and again really a lot of just the very core structure of that game is what broke down. I thought the loot system, the money system, and the weapon system was and leveling up systems were so uninteresting that I really didn't know what the leveling up was like at PAX East. I didn't level up, and the fact that leveling up made such a little difference, the fact that all of your moves were what you had, the fact that the inventory and money was so, I don't know, that game just I do understand why people like it, but I think it has. One, I think it's evident that it's made how and where and by who it was made by. And I don't mean that as a slight. It's just I'm still surprised that game has as much hype and sales and everything as it does, because to me it feels much more of a niche, hardcore experience than a AAA major thing. And they wanted it to be that. They got rid of the 3, they put the slash marks on there, and they pimped this thing out as the next big thing. And for some people it was, but I think it was if you look at The Witcher 1 to The Witcher 3, I don't think there's as much opening up into the mainstream as people say there is. I think there really,
dude. That's factual. This isn't opinion based. It opened up to the mainstream. It did it. You know what I mean? The world much bigger. The Witcher 1 and 2, those are linear games for the most part, especially 2.
To me,
2
it
is very
still
linear.
feels so much like a very European hardcore micromanaging little tiny detail RPG.
Okay.
But yeah, that's just me. And
you got one, Max?
Yeah, for me, I will also, again, as honorable mention for disappointment, which I guess would be dishonorable, actually. And again, The Order as well, because I was so hyped for that game. It looked aesthetically, it was really cool. The setting was interesting, and then werewolves and vampires, and it was sign me up. That looks cool. And it's still quite possibly the most impressive visually game that we've had so far. So for that, definitely was disappointed that it wasn't what I had hoped for it to be, but I'm also hopeful that maybe, just maybe, if we get a sequel, I think they could really kind of like take all the building blocks from this one and build on that and make hopefully a great game. But for me, I would say, I know Zach is going to probably be very upset with me about this, but it's Evolve, because after PAX Prime, I was so hyped for that game, and I was like, I couldn't wait for it, and then, I don't know, it was just like, it never like really clicked with me to the extent that it clicked with me when, I feel like almost the way that you play this game is always with a setting of friends. Like, that's the optimal way to play this game. I feel like when we played it at PAX Prime, we had the headsets and we were all talking and there was this noise and you could hear the audience like screaming and stuff. It was like this visceral kind of like almost like allowed you to play an esport without being like a pro at it. So I loved that experience and I was like, I want more of that. And then when the game came out, I was like, there was like almost nothing to hold on to. And I think that with that game, with the way that the audience has really kind of disappeared from it and there's very few people playing it actively, I think that speaks loudly to that. So I really wanted that game to be much more than what it ended up being. So for me, that was definitely a disappointment. So yeah, Evolve, surprisingly.
Cool. Yeah.
Zach, come on, fire back if you need to.
The only thing I want to say is, like, I hear that argument a lot. I still think playing the monster solo is great. Like, to me, it's the ultimate power fantasy. I pump my fist after I destroy everyone. Like, that still, to me, is a really good feeling. I do get what you're saying. Like, yes, my probably favorite video game moment of all time was partaking in that tournament at E3, because I did feel like the only time ever I was in, like, this esports world kind of thing. That was really exciting and very team-focused and very, like, working together, tension. I still think that game is burned mostly by the negative thought around it, and maybe rightfully so, but I would be interested to see if that game was re-released in a, wipe everyone's mind, Men in Black style, don't do the DLC thing, what the player base is like now, what the general
I think it would be way
is,
better. I think it would be way, because I think if they added the variation right off the bat, it would incentivize people to like explore the game more in depth. And
I guess maybe it's just to the audience, but like I'm thinking about like, okay, so Evolve adds like arena mode, which is like a really great mode that complements Hunt very well. They add new monster, they add new hunters. Splatoon adds new mode that complements Turf Wars, new guns, new maps. Like, why is one received as like this cool thing and the other is like a shit show? Is it just the audiences? Like, who it's...
No, because I think you can play Splatoon by yourself and have fun. Unless you're the monster in Evolve, you can't play by yourself and have fun.
Okay, so it's
like,
just
because you can't communicate with it. Yeah, you can't communicate with
single player. So it's like there is the element of like value from that standpoint as well. Again, I think that Evolve was like a game that really could have been massive. Mm-hmm. I think with a different business model, I think that game could have been huge, and I think there's other things like there's other factors, like even in my opinion I think the map design is very uninspired in that game. I think a lot of the maps none of them are very memorable. When you play a multiplayer game, like you talk about Call of Duty or Battlefield or anything like that, there's people will bring up specific maps like Nuketown or Airport or Terminal, I should say. Like they'll name maps because of how special they are and kind of like the encounters that they incentivize. In Evolve, I couldn't name one map, and I know that you could say, well, you didn't play it for very long. Sure. I think I have about 8 to 10 hours in that game. Like, I should be able to remember at least one map, and none of them were really memorable. So I think that if they have a chance to do a sequel similarly with Evolve, I hope that they'll listen to that, like change your business model, and then also like adapt some of those other factors, like maybe make some maps that are like on different planets. It's like, hey, you summon this monster onto this type of planet, and this planet is very different, and it's got a lot more color or maybe water, and like, I don't know, I just feel like the maps could have been done a little bit more dynamic to like incentivize battles in certain points, So
yeah, I totally agree.
That's just my opinion.
I mean, I think,
and here my two things. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say real briefly, like, I do think from a design standpoint, it's well made. Like, for example, I played Behemoth before release and thought it was absolutely terrible, and then they made tweaks and it's now my favorite monster to play. So I just wish they had found a way to convey it, because like, again, there's stuff like I would love to know the psychology behind like Destiny, right? A game that I feel has very poor content and is very repetitive. Why that like clicks with people, and they abuse people monetarily there as well, and Evolve doesn't. I wish there was a way to like unlock that we were talking about Lucy before the movie started, like unlock the minds of everyone and quickly look at all of them and see like what is making this decision.
And I think this has something to do with it. Like, and Destiny, for all the abusive behavior that it has, you're unlocking stuff as you go. And Evolve, dude, you're unlocking nothing as you continue. Like, there's no real incentive
when you
to
start
keep
the game,
playing.
you do unlock 8 more hunters and 2 more monsters.
But you hit that cap of that very quickly. Even in Splatoon, right? You keep unlocking different weapons, different things like that. These hunters, this is it. Like, that's what they are. Like, then there's no different weapons. There's no different skin. There's skins, but you got to buy them. Like, and that's not even me like throwing a jab, but like there has to be incentive for like, hey, if I keep playing like religiously the way that some people play Destiny, there's constant unlocks, constant new armor, constant new guns. Like, they keep adding all of these things, and it's not there in Evolve.
Maybe Evolve is just like the guinea pig for this kind of game.
To be fair, I think in the DLC, like the last DLC of the Hunters, I think, like the one that had the bug medic guy, like that was amazing. Like, that guy was so cool visually. He was so very different. Like, it felt like you were playing a different character. And I just wish that was there from the beginning. Like, give me, if you're sticking to these 4 classes, at least make them distinctly different. Like, as you unlock those other 8 hunters, like, make them the bug guy or make the robot guy that you get later. Like, I don't know. I just feel like they could have done better, at least with the original package.
Yes.
It's almost like the original package, if it was just at least a little bit different, it would have incentivized me to play as some of these other characters.
Like, this is probably the most unbiased I've been about the game, because I do totally see those points, and I wish their model, I don't know if they were just getting experimental with kind of this new, we're going to do these new almost like MOBA style games, but we're going to charge for them. How much can we get away with? How much content? Was it rush development? We'll never know. But Battleborn, even though it's very different mechanically, like almost feels like the perfected version of that formula. 25 characters, multiplayer, single player, competitive co-op, unlockable skins, a meta game where you're unlocking upgrades for the characters and skins and whatnot, a micro game where you're upgrading your character within, a bunch of modes, a storyline, personality, out the walls. I'll be interested to see how that's received, because to me it feels like if Evolve had been done that way, like imagine if Evolve had all 25 monsters or whatever, personality, modes, single player, it could have been a hit. And maybe it just had to sort of be the sacrificial lamb for companies to be like, okay, this is
learn what
this is where we're going to go.
And
another
last thing I'll say about Evolve, I think they are still not trending downwards, but this whole season 2 thing, sure, have a season 2, but the fact that we're not getting the new monster till January, like they're doing some weird stuff.
It's weird.
Like, okay, you're paying for this up front, but we'll trickle in the hunters, as we go. You're not going to get them all up front. Oh, and also, like, the main part that everybody wants, you won't get that till next year.
Well, I think the reason for that, Gabe, is probably because they're just trying to, like, give the game more of a tail. Because I think that, look, if they give you the monster now, the player base, I think, could drop even more. Like, because there's nothing to look forward to. Yeah,
and I understand it. It's just, in practice, like, that seems strange. And I know a lot of, like, season passes do this. Like, you pay up front, you don't get any of the content until they decide. But, like, till next year for the part that everyone wants, that's a little bit strange. And especially when the first season pass didn't do so hot. I get it. They're really, really trying. They want to make Evolve too. I understand.
Do we know when the Batman DLC starts for that season pass?
It's going to... I could have sworn they said something, didn't they?
I don't.
Is that fall or is it August?
Yeah, I heard something like, I don't know why October is something that...
Oh, wow. So
yeah, it's all this year, though. Yeah, it's all this year.
Okay. Yeah, but they also said that it's going to be 6 months worth. So it's going to, like, they plan to release the entire content within a span of 6 months. So starting to end, all of it will be out within 6 months.
Cool. Thomas writes in with his biggest surprise, and it's mine as well, so it fits perfectly. Hello, all. Despite its technical flaws... Sorry, that was awkward.
What was that? Hey, hello.
Despite its technical flaws and its campy dialogue at times, Life is Strange is by far my biggest surprise of 2015. The way it builds relationships within the game is fantastic. It has a deep, rich story that changes vastly after each episode, and its time travel aspect is fun and exciting. The game blends real-life issues and supernatural elements beautifully. In my opinion, along with Telltale's The Walking Dead, it's by far the best case of a game feeling like a quality written television show. Cannot wait for episode 4. And for me, like, definitely my biggest surprise. I thought the game sounded cool. I read the reviews of the first episode and people were like, ew, it's a stupid teen girl drama thing. And it's turned out to be like one of my favorite games of the year, my biggest surprise, and I'm super looking forward to how they managed to wrap everything up.
Yep, Life is Strange is awesome. So, I agree.
Have either of you played up? Sorry.
No, I'm still catching up. I think that's going to be my sad as it is, probably my Christmas break game, like the game that because I usually I'll have like some games that I don't like record at all and just play for fun. So like for me, like Bloodborne was one of those, and then Life is Strange has been one of those. So yeah, it's a very. I think that the most unique thing about them is that in a genre that is very much dominated by one player, I'm talking about Telltale, the fact that they were able to come in and then do something that felt different. Like as much as it was similar, it feels very different and kind of like almost opens up that specific type of game, like, you know, the point and click type thing. And they kind of like split that out more and say like, hey, this is the kind of thing you can do with it. So I think that it was a very, very, very pleasant surprise for sure.
Yeah, and they don't have like the lip sync down, but I feel like they're so much more cinematic than Telltale. Like Telltale is like you hear the awkward like stuttering of the feet shuffling to the next scene, and somehow Life is Strange like pairs in these musical numbers, and like they manage to make it feel very like dramatic and cinematic. And I know they're going
even
for a totally
though the
different
scope
tone.
is like smaller, like so to speak. Like,
sure.
You don't visit as much.
It just feels like I don't know, like Walking Dead or which I love, like or Wolf Among Us. Like they seem to like carry themselves very like. You guys get the sense like Life is Strange just does something that presentationally makes me feel like I'm part of a really epic storyline. Whereas sometimes The Walking Dead, the way it transitions and the way it goes from scene to scene, and the way that the characters, I guess I just feel like maybe the narrative in Life is Strange, maybe not like plot point wise, but maybe just like cohesion writing wise is stronger or something, because there's just something slightly awkward about the Telltale stuff.
I think to a certain extent, Life is Strange is most like closely compared to The Walking Dead because I think they do humans right. Mm-hmm. Like as much as there is a supernatural element, and with The Walking Dead also you have like running zombies and stuff, so you do have that kind of unrealistic component to it, but at the same time, I think they do humans right. Like those scenes of where like you explore their families and you kind of like learn about your friend's family and about the father and whether or not he could be abusive and stuff like that. Like it touches on a lot of things that I think resonates with people because many people experience that in real life. So I think that's what they did really well, is that they didn't do like goofy people. They did like real people and people that have like real problems that you would see in the real world.
Yeah, and you know what it could be as well is like the slower pace allows much more depth of the characters, whereas Walking Dead's like constantly moving. So maybe that's what I'm feeling like. Hey, we get to explore Max's room. We get to learn about, you know, Chloe's past. We get to see Chloe's stepdad and her mom, and this and that. And we get to talk to Warren a bunch of times in a bunch of different settings. Whereas Walking Dead's kind of like we're being chased by these zombies, so we got to keep on the move. And so you're learning about the characters as you go, sure, but it doesn't allow for as much of like a sentimentality that maybe Life is Strange builds through its more calm pacing.
Yep.
I like this email just because of the way he addresses us. Philip writes in saying, "Hello, Jeremy, Jeff, and George." Don't know who is who, but it says, my favorite moment this year was definitely when Horizon Zero Dawn got announced. I'm always excited for new IP, and that one looks absolutely incredible. Which I definitely think that's one of the more impressive games we've ever seen get announced. And I'll throw one more in here. This one's from Jordan. Hello, CSP crew. I'm Jordan from Edmonton, Canada. My biggest...
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Repping the
Great White North.
Yes. My biggest 2015 gaming moment was during the Sony presentation at E3 when Activision announced that they are switching over from Microsoft to Sony for advertising and early game content with Call of Duty. It really surprised me that this happened, but I guess many more PS4s were sold than Xbox Ones. But nevertheless, I'm happy that PlayStation owners can finally get their turn for early DLC, and I cannot wait for Black Ops 3, which is a pretty sizable moment.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize just how big of a deal that is. I think that's a big, big deal. Mm-hmm. Just because that's the biggest game every year. So for them to get that...
Unless GTA comes out that year, or Fallout.
There's no GTA this year for sure. We're not getting GTA...
No, I know, I'm just saying.
Oh,
you
okay.
said every year except when GTA
Yeah,
out,
sure.
Fallout.
Yeah. In that regard, yeah, of course.
Or Evolve 2.
Yeah. We think Fallout 4 outsells Call of Duty, Black Ops 3.
Dude, I don't know, but based on those streams and like
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that. So maybe
Do we include the 360 PS3 versions of Black Ops 3?
Yeah. Everything cumulative.
Then yes, Black Ops 3 outsells it. Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't the last email, was it? Because you teased us. You teased me during the week with something, and I want to hear it.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that when we wrap up this segment. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
For me, I would say the surprise. By the way, I wanted to mention one is Splatoon, because I think that game was like, it's so weird like, when you just explain it. Like even now, after having played it, it's like you're a squid, you're a kid, and you're playing essentially like glorified paintballing. Mm-hmm. And like it sounds like somebody like took some acid at Nintendo, was like, let's make a game, you know, like it's
that's
like,
what happened.
It's so weird, but it works.
Was Reggie. It was Reggie on a Thursday night.
Yeah, him and who was in that skit? Remember what was the name of that kid? I forgot
the name.
Yeah.
But that was just a Thursday
They
night.
had a bunch of strange kid integration in E3, like the kid reporter, and like I was like, where did all these kids come from? But
I think they're kind of like accepting their position, you know, more. They're like, well, we don't want to
They're
target
accepting
them.
defeat. I'm joking.
Brandon writes in and says, hello guys, it's Brandon. Although I do think it's too early to name my official game of the year, I'd have to go with Batman Arkham Knight as my game of the year currently. Yeah, on PC it technically doesn't exist after the awful launch failures, so that probably hurts a lot, but I love the story. I thought the new Batmobile system worked really well and added some cool stuff to the gameplay. Dual play was also really good, me being a huge Nightwing fan. I love playing alongside Batman. The DLCs I have yet to try out, but my only real complaint I've had with the game is that there's no challenge maps included this time around. They instead replaced that with the AR challenge, which to be perfectly honest, I thought sucked. Graphics were also very, very amazing. All around game of the year so far. Thanks guys, Brandon.
Cool.
Do you guys care about the challenge maps? I also saw a lot of people like really, really complaining about their absence.
They're not coming back. Supposedly they were coming in as DLC, but these are different like challenge maps. It's not the traditional ones, and people want those, and they're not in the game. So I don't care as much about it.
You can't always get what you want.
But sometimes you get what you need.
And we did with Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Batman is what was the line? It's not the night something.
It's like we don't get to hear what we want. We get to hear what we deserve.
Yeah, something like that.
I think we can safely say that for all the delay BS, like it paid off. Like they did deliver a very fully fleshed out, pretty darn awesome experience all
on
around. On consoles.
Yeah. I can't imagine this game coming out last year like originally said. Like
so
that
weird.
original date, there's how? I don't understand.
Jeff Keighley needs to do one of those like final hours things. Like what did the game have at that point? Like were a bunch of those side mission tracks just not in the game, or like
what if at that point the way that it was released on PC, that's how it was on consoles too.
Yeah, they were just fixing it this whole time. And hey, I guess it works out. Paid off.
Brianna writes in saying, hey guys, my game of the year so far is definitely Splatoon. It's such a fresh idea that it's really entertaining and fun to play. It's really a shooting game for people who don't like shooting games. I love that they are adding new content constantly. Keeps the game exciting. Splatoon all the way. Stay fresh, guys. And, that's interesting. Like, it's a shooting game for people who don't like shooting games, but at the same time, I feel like it's definitely a shooting game for people that do like shooting games, too. A lot of people on Twitter I see are people that play a lot of the hardcore games, and that's probably why it was successful, is because it does manage to cater to both
crossover
groups.
Yeah.
And I know you don't agree, but this game does. I've played it a little bit more. This game does play a lot like Gears of War. It's super reminiscent of Gears of War. Yes, dude, it plays a lot at Gears of War.
Gabriel,
dude, the character move, like the character speed,
when they're sprinting through the ink is like
no, I know, okay, but you can also roadie run. Like the cover in Gears here, it's the same cover.
Really?
Except
you took cover in this?
I'm just not seeing the ink. And the ink, dude, it's very Gears of War-y. Guys, write us in. Let me know if I'm wrong. But dude, this
let me know I'm wrong.
Yeah, guys, let me know I'm wrong.
Please let me know I'm wrong. Please just call. Yeah. Please talk to me.
Call me out.
Gabe Quinter writes in. I don't know if that's his real name.
That's an awesome name.
Cool
I hope
name.
it's his real
He
name.
really agrees with you. Hey, Zach, Max, and Gabe. My name is Quinter, and my favorite game of the year so far is Ori and the Blind Forest.
Wow.
As much as I love the
you.
scope of games like Witcher, Bloodborne, and Batman, something about exploring a beautiful, hand-drawn 2D land as a cute creature is wonderful and surreal. It's very sad that this game never came to PlayStation systems, because I truly believe every gamer should experience this game. The story, gameplay, and mechanics of Ori and the Blind Forest have unparalleled sleekness in this industry, which is awesome for a fairly small indie game. This game is what gets me more excited for future indie games that focus on the importance of story, like Unravel, Abzu, Adrift, The Last Guardian, and Uncharted. Well, Uncharted 4 is not really indie, but yeah, neither is Last Guardian. Games are powerful, and Ori truly displayed that to its extent. Hope you guys can have a good discussion about this game and others. We did have quite the discussion. Thanks for always making me laugh every Friday, and here's to many more months of awesome podcasting and debating. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. What was his name?
Quinter.
Thank you to your mom for naming
Gabe,
that.
is that you? Gabe, be honest. Did you just make an email and send it in?
Oh, you caught me. Damn it. No, it was not me.
The Power of
It wasn't
Ori.
me.
That sounds definitely like something you would have...
Dude, hopefully that's a sequel.
Aren't they talking about it? Like, haven't they already mentioned?
Yeah.
What are they going to call it? Ori.
Ori and the Power of Ori.
No, they're going to call it Mori.
Mori in the Blind Forest. That's it.
The forest is no longer blind, by the way.
The Blind
Oh,
Ocean
okay.
or the Blind Space or something.
No.
Ooh, that would be cool with the ocean. That would be neat.
Ori in the
actually.
Deaf Ocean.
There you go. The Death Ocean.
Steven writes in, my game of the year so far is Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I've played about 60 hours of The Witcher, and I have been hooked even to this very day. The world is massive and beautifully constructed, and the score is soothing and breathtaking. I thought it was interesting that he brought up the score as like one of the primary points. The game has a nice balance of strategy and combat. The world itself is very dense and deep. I don't know how you think that, but it's okay. With side missions everywhere. The story is like Game of Thrones, which I will praise as well. It's written with such complications and depth that it hooks you in immediately. Anyways, love the podcast. You guys are awesome. Steven.
Okay. I don't think the story's like Game of Thrones. Like,
That's the thing I've been hearing, like people comparing this to Game of Thrones. Are they watching the same Game of Thrones that I am?
yeah, that's what I'm
Because
saying. Like,
it's nothing like Game of Thrones. There is not one character that is as complex or as interesting, in my opinion.
except the Baron.
Yeah, the Baron is probably the closest to like an in-depth character because he actually has like build and like he's flawed. He's not like a perfect kind of.
Triss, sort of, but Triss is weird. I'm personally a Yennefer guy, so I guess if you want to give Triss some credit, whatever.
But she's kind of very, again, as far as I got, she's very kind of like one-dimensional.
Yeah,
Geralt himself is pretty one-dimensional.
Well, Geralt is ultimately like, I don't know. Yeah. I learned very little about him, so
He's the greatest
I don't know.
character
I guess
to ever write.
Yeah, I guess we respectfully disagree.
Yep.
In that regard. But look, if you love it, clearly, look, it's the highest reviewed game right now. If you don't account for GTA 5 PC, based on numbers, it is the best game in the last 6 months. So,
yeah. Hold on, I'm looking up the Metacritic for Ori real quick.
Do we have any other games we want to highlight? I want to give a quick little shout out to Mortal Kombat X. I think that's like a supreme fighting game with a whole lot of content. The single player, I know people are like it's too short, but it felt perfect to me, and that the fighting in that game is just great. It looks great. It's like the first real like next gen fighter that I think knocks it out of the park.
It looked really cool. I didn't play it, but from what I've watched, like some of the coverage and stuff, and I watched some of your videos and stuff, it looks really fun. I love how smooth it runs. Like it doesn't feel like, sometimes in fighting games you have like those weird like stutters or like where it's just like strange. Here it just seems like flawless in terms of just like how it goes from one animation into another and back and forth, and it looks cool. I want Injustice. That's what I want. I want an Injustice sequel.
Coming next summer.
You will get it. Don't you worry. Yeah.
I hope so. Imagine next year Injustice as well. Ooh,
yeah. Ori is only 1 point below Batman on Metacritic.
Batman.
1 point.
Yeah, but how much? Witcher is the highest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Witcher
okay,
is the highest. Yes. You were correct when you said besides GTA on PC.
Okay, yeah, because I remember seeing that. So
yeah, it's like a 96 for GTA, 92 for Witcher, and then after that they're all in the 80s. But yeah, good stuff.
Wow, there isn't any other game that's in the 90s.
Shovel Knight, but I'm not counting that.
How about Bloodborne? How much is that?
It's not. It's lower than 80.
I can't believe Batman didn't get 9s. I really find that so.
Well,
surprising.
it got 9s.
Yeah, I know, but
it's
like straight 9s. With the main complaint being the Batmobile, just it.
Honest, because it got like a 5 from our. He's not our friend, but from Jim Sterling.
That's ludicrous. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Opinions are opinions, but there's no way that game's a 5. There's just no way.
I agree.
Well, it is if you're playing it on PC, maybe, and like
can't play
your
it.
PC can't run it, and like essentially.
GameStop gave it a 7. I'm still talking about Batman here, and
Wait,
Destructo gave it
GameSpot
a
or
7.
GameStop?
GameSpot.
Okay, you said GameStop.
Kevin Van Ord gave it a 7, Destructoid gave it a 7. So I think those kind of brought down the score a little bit because Batman's not doing bad. It's in at 89. It's right there.
Sure.
So
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's reviewing. I think it's reviewing best on the PS4, right? From what I heard, because it runs best on the PS4.
yes.
Yeah, and then Xbox One is second, and then PC apparently is like abysmal. It's like in the 60s or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, because it was broken, that's fair.
Cool.
Any hidden gems that you want to call out for people that maybe are going to get bored in the next couple months because we really have no releases? So any like smaller games or even big games that maybe got underlooked or overlooked, I guess would be the term.
All right.
Well, apart
Axiom
from
Verge.
everything we named.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The other one I want to talk about, this is if you play on PC. And I feel like Max might be a little bit more lenient towards me now that he's played Ark. Reign of Kings, it has a new map. So I haven't played it, but I'm going to jump onto it soon. It has a new map, and I'm going to get on that. Reign of Kings is super fun, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it really is.
I agree.
It's
Sure.
the opposite of what you said. Ori gave you all your time back, and Reign of Kings steals it all away from you.
Yeah,
So-
checks and balances.
Speaking of which, I was going to bring up Ark, but then recently they had a server wipe.
I told you.
And, well, let's just say I haven't played Ark since.
Yeah, that's the thing with these games, man. If you're not okay with that...
Imagine if that happened in like Batman. They're like, hold on, we had to wipe Gotham, okay, because we're repopulating. Like that would not float at all.
Yeah, but they're completely different type of game. This is
Yeah, but you're still
multiplayer.
doing stuff and then losing all your progress.
Yeah, but this is arbitrary progress. Like, because even if the server doesn't get wiped, you could lose everything overnight.
The
Yes.
good thing in Ark is that at least they kept your levels. So like you keep all your experience and everything you learn. So you only lose like basically what you care about, which is your house and your dinosaurs.
Yeah, because in games like this, Zachary, Rust, Reign of Kings, things like that, server wipes are not your only worry. You know, you could get a group of people that just want to be dicks and go around and raiding and killing you, and you lose everything just there. You go to sleep at night, there's people playing overnight, you could just lose all your shit. Like, so that's a constant danger in these games, and I think that's some of the appeal. So if it doesn't appeal to you, obviously it's not for you. But I'm trying to think of any other games that...
I have a couple. So
Go ahead.
one is going to be, which is still in early access, but then again, I think Reign of Kings is also, right?
Yes.
So is Ark. Darkest Dungeon is a really, really fun game if you want like a super...
I love that game.
Yeah, if you want like a super hardcore like RPG, and it's got so much depth. Like I feel like it's almost like a full release game already, but it's in early access. And then the other one is actually Invisible Ink. I haven't gotten a lot of time into it, but it's really cool because it's made by Clay, by the guys that made like Mark of the Ninja, Don't Starve, Shank, I think, right? They made Shank 1 and 2. So like it's that team. They're really, really cool. And Invisible Ink is essentially like a turn-based stealth game, which is a very interesting concept in and of itself. I'm about, let me see, 2 hours into it, so I don't know how much that is, if I'm like far or not. But it's really, really cool and just unique, and it's a fun little game. So if you want to play something a little indie kind of scale, I guess, this is totally up my alley, and hopefully it will be up yours too. And on top of that, of course, it has ridiculously good art and just gorgeous, because the people they have working over there are talented as heck, and it's awesome. So that's another one that I think it came out like a few weeks ago, and we just never mentioned it. So I've been playing that.
My
Castle into Darkness. I just want to, sorry, very quickly. That's super fun. I know your brother likes it a lot, Zachary. So yeah, go check it out on his channel if you guys want to see some gameplay from it. Shadow Games?
Inner Shadow Games.
Inner Shadow Games. There you go. Shadow Gamer, some other guy that follows me on Twitter. Got
Castle
confused.
in Darkness is pretty cool. My 3 quick little indie hits would be Ollie Ollie 2, which is available on a lot of platforms. I think the first one was great, and they just refined things there. It's really fun on the Vita, especially like a handheld. Box Boy is great on the 3DS as like a cheap, fun little thing. It's made by the developers who did... It's made by HAL, right? The Smash Bros. Former Smash... What else did they make? Now I'm... Box Boy.
Okay, while he's doing that, let me
hold
just
on. While I'm talking about Box
yeah.
Boy, Crypt of the Necrodancer is a game on PC that's very, very weird. It's a rhythm-based roguelike that
What is it called again? Sorry.
Crypt of the Necrodancer. And
I
I
haven't heard of this.
legit, it's not something that I don't think you're going to play for a long time, but it's very cheap. It was only a couple dollars in Steam, and I legit loved it for the week that I was like really into it. And I actually may play it today now that I'm thinking of it, because it was really, really cool. HAL Laboratory made Box Boy, and they have since made stuff like they helped in Smash Bros, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. They've done stuff on 3DS, Kirby Triple Deluxe, Smash Bros on 3DS, Box Boy, the highly touted Face Raiders for the original 3DS, where you like shot people's faces to show the immersive technology.
Yeah,
so that one's good. They basically did all the Kirby stuff.
All right.
Did you have one more?
I just want to throw out Dirty Bomb again, because I mentioned it last week and I played some more. That game is so fun. That game is very
That's
fun.
the free to play, right?
Yeah,
Shooting.
yeah, it's free to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
It's
it's the best free to play shooter out right now, I think, in my opinion. I have trouble thinking of a better
To be
one,
fair,
so.
there isn't that much competition.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
Blacklight's still out there. Team Fortress is still. Like, I'm saying, like,
wow.
out of
Better than those.
yeah,
huh?
right now, yeah. So, and Team Fortress is a better game, but it's just that Team Fortress has been out for so long that
it's not as fresh.
Yeah.
we have breaking NFL news since we're 70.
Oh my.
Antonio Gates.
I can't
73
wait.
days away from the season. Antonio Gates and Sheldon Richardson
so
both
stupid. He's
suspended
so
4
stupid.
games for drug abuse.
Unbelievable. What did they abuse?
Performance enhancement drugs.
What did they abuse?
Steroids.
Oh,
or some
okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Haloti Ngata last year got suspended 4 games for taking what's it called, Adderall. So
Yeah, no, but the Antonio Gates thing in particular, because I was just reading about it. It says performance enhancing substances.
Great.
So that sounds like steroids. So
let's close.
But
with this.
only 4 games. That's not that bad.
Oh, and there's only 16.
There's only 16
okay.
in the
Well, yeah, then it's bad.
Yeah. Man, okay.
Is that a
What is
player
it?
on your team or something? Is that why you care?
No. He plays for the Chargers. I don't know anyone that cares for
Okay.
the
So
Chargers.
why are you then upset?
Well, because he's a big time player. Like
But isn't it like good to like punish cheaters or no?
Oh, I'm not upset by this. I don't care.
Oh,
Gabe, I started to change this, and you're like, you got like really like bent out of shape.
Because it's a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I don't know.
whatever.
I mean, in a sport where if somebody like hits you, could give you concussions and stuff. I think it's pretty important. Like, no,
Whatever.
okay, doesn't matter.
Gabe's not having that.
Gabe was like, "Listen, just let them all do it, and it's gonna be more exciting."
They're gonna hit harder. It'll be
The
all right.
NFL is the modern day gladiators, so we want the more beef that we can put into the pit, the better.
I'm still just waiting to hear on my boy Tom Brady, as I call him. You know, me and him were talking last
I hope
night.
he gets kicked out of the league.
Well, that's not happening.
Maybe.
But I'm just waiting for this. I think it's gonna get reduced. I don't know if it's gonna get reduced to 3 or 2. It's gonna get reduced. It seems like.
What he got?
Really?
He got another suspension.
No, it's the same one, but
Oh.
he appealed
What
it.
I don't understand is
and-
how come his appeal goes through instantly and Le'Veon Bell's appeal has taken like 5 months
Because he's Tom Brady.
because he's a pretty white
well,
guy.
Le'Veon Bell's a big deal.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if
I don't know. I've never heard that name, but I've heard of Tom Brady. That's what I mean.
Running back for the Steelers. He saved my fantasy season last year. But the reason I think that his suspension is going to be, sort of overturned, not fully, but I think they'll reduce it, is because, they had that thing where the Patriots decided not to, like, fight the fact that, okay, like, they're like, fine us, take the draft. Like, they're not fighting this, right?
Which means
So I
they're
think
guilty,
that's
so
gonna-
now they reduce it.
Yeah.
They're like, listen, we did it. We admit it. We did it all. We're gonna do it again, but reduce the penalty.
No,
Makes
I
sense.
love how what in the press conference they just said, like, really, guys, are you surprised? We've cheated before. We're going to do it again. You probably won't catch us till, like, we do it, like, 3 more. Like, yeah, they're sort of known to bend the rules a little bit. It's a thing they do.
Obnoxious. But what's not obnoxious is the email that I'll wrap things up with, at least for this segment. By the way, can't stop asking at gmail.com. Send us your questions, comments, theories, thoughts, and love letters. This one's from Serena, and it's in relation to
Did Serena sent us a love letter,
for
didn't she?
Final Fantasy VII, and I'm reading it for Gabe, basically. It's a very well thought out email, so no disrespect there, but we had quite the debate about Final Fantasy VII last week.
And we continue to have
We
it.
do. In
Regularly.
all of the
I can
secret
vouch for
alleyways of texting, Twitter, and more. First off,
Yeah.
great episode last week. Second, this will be more of a comment, opinion rather than a question, but I still hope you take the time to look it through, which we are. I want to take a moment to share some opinion on some of the hype concerns of 2 certain games mentioned in the last podcast. Who knows what those could be? I'm going to actually skip over the Shenmue discussion because I feel like we beat that horse to death. But leading into the other big game, Final Fantasy VII, I'll say first, even though I'm a big fan of that particular Final Fantasy, I in no way ever wanted this remake to happen. I went to watch the PlayStation conference in theaters, and I'm sure I was the only one that sat there face-palming while the whole place roared. I love Final Fantasy VII, but I love it for what it is, and that's it. But you cannot deny the fan base and popularity of this game. Like mentioned, this is pretty much the most famous popular JRPG in existence. She personally likes Chrono Trigger better. But Final Fantasy VII may be an old game on its own, but as a franchise, it's huge. It's continually gained popularity through the years through the compilation of FF7. There's its CG movie Advent Children, the animation Last Order, the games Before Crisis, Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus, which all sold really well. All over 1 million globally, I believe. Not to mention the many cameos and appearances its characters have made in other franchises, such as Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy Dissidia, that have kept it relevant. Final Fantasy VII exists over different mediums and markets, including anime, animation, mobile gaming, console gaming, movies, and more. There are a lot of people that have been exposed to its world and story. People who got into the series later on and simply won't play the original due to graphics will buy the remake instantly. So it's not just the fans of the original that are hyped. Also, just to clear up some of the it's just another remake thing, Nomura has already done some interviews and has stated that it will not be the same game with prettier graphics and that there might be additions to the story and it will have updated gameplay. So I can guarantee that whenever this releases, it will surely sell over 1 million on its popularity and legacy alone. Now, what won't sell is that pretty pointless PC port coming to the PlayStation 4. There's a lot more of these games than just Western appeal as well. Japanese game development may not always cater to the tastes of mainstream audiences, but you have to appreciate the variety that does come out of it. The games may not always be AAA movie blockbuster titles, but a lot of them have interesting gameplay and, if given the chance, overlooking the aesthetics and graphics, can be really great games. Anyways, I'm absolutely loving this podcast more and more. This was possibly my favorite episode just because I love the intense debates that occurred. Hearing multiple opinions are great, and it makes you guys all seem more real, knowing that you don't agree 100% of the time on everything, and you're not afraid to say it how it really is. Too many people sugarcoat things in the gaming space now. This was the first time that I really felt the need to jump into the solid opinion and be involved. Can't Stop Playing is becoming more awesome, and I can't stop listening.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Email
now go leave
of
that,
the week.
Now go leave this on iTunes.
Yeah.
I'm joking. That was an awesome. That was awesome though. Yeah.
And
I agree with everything she said.
Of course
like,
you do.
I think you should be in jail for this. You criminally undervalue the popularity of Final Fantasy VII. Shenmue, whatever. I won't get into that one because that game isn't popular. It never was. But Final Fantasy VII is a behemoth.
I mean, cocaine is also incredibly popular. It doesn't make it great.
I'm not debating its greatness right now.
Did you really just compare Final Fantasy
Yeah,
VII?
people take cocaine and need more. People somehow play Final Fantasy VII and need more.
He's said this before. That's why I didn't explode with laughter. He has made this. He said heroin at one point.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice. Of course. Very good comparison.
Great email though. Very well written and
Very
well
well
thought.
thought
Awesome.
and reasonable. That's what I like. It wasn't like she said that. Look, I get the thing that like people are super duper hyped, but I'm also not like super duper
Crazy about it.
enthusiastic. Yeah. So
And I like I like that she liked our arguments. So I feel like the gloves can come off more often now. And
yeah.
So when next time we're each gonna have a knife in our
Finally, I
hand,
can
we're
take
gonna
off these
throw it-
gloves. Jesus,
Yeah.
it's so hot in these things.
So make sure to let us know what you think about our gloves. Can't stop asking at gmail.com. We'll close the show out with Hype City. Haven't done this in a while because we've been in Hype City quite literally. But now that the dust has settled, or more like pixie dust really, because it was quite the magical time. I want to know where we're taking this train of love.
Gabe, you start us.
Ant-Man.
Okay.
Okay, that's really weird after we just talked about E3, but okay. Ant-Man
Well,
it is.
dude,
Paul
dude,
Rudd, bring it home.
dude,
Celery
what-
Man, let's go.
Dude, here's the thing. Lucy keeps making fun of me for wanting to see that movie. She's like, dude, there's ants outside. Go look at them. I'm like, no, that's not what Ant-Man is. First of all, second of all, there's not a lot of games coming out, so I can't be excited. Like everybody's gone to the Raptors next month.
And then
Gears of War remasters next month, but other than that, gotta wait till the following month for Mighty Number 9 and whatever
Metal
else, I don't
Gear,
remember.
Mad Max. There's lots.
Yeah, but this month is dry, and Hannibal got canceled, so like I'm afraid to even finish the season until like.
Yeah, but to be
it
fair, a
gets
lot of
e-
people are saying that this season has been like meh.
I saw the first episode, like, because I was really excited, but then it got canceled, and I'm like, I'll wait until, like, if it gets picked up by somebody, then I'll go back and watch it.
As soon as the show cancels, you stop watching. You're like, it's canceled in my brain too. That's it.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly
canceled.
why. If the story's not going to be
Doesn't that make you want to
to
see it more though? Like so you have like all of the goods. You can save them in your
Wait,
mind.
wait, have they finished filming all the episodes?
Of this season, yes.
So it's fully filmed. They can't. They
yes.
didn't. Okay, but
Look.
what if they wrap it up?
This season is airing to entirety, but there's no next season.
Yeah.
So why don't you want to watch this
season?
season?
I don't know. I will watch it. I'm just not in a hurry. Like,
It's been canceled, Zach. He can take his time.
Like
Get all your life to catch up.
Okay, look. Here's the thing.
Okay,
this
look.
season. This season isn't going to end in any definitive manner.
How do you know?
It might even because it's not. They've said as much.
Oh, okay.
Because they were about to start, because they're doing the Red Dragon story stuff. At least part of it this year. They're going to carry it on until next year, but now it's canceled. So, man, why are you asking me if you don't care?
No, I'm just saying. Maybe they did say that Netflix is interested. So they
Netflix can't do it.
Gabe, what if
Netflix
you
can't.
played? What if you played?
Amazon can save it, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
What if you play a game?
Why can Netflix not save it?
Because right now Hannibal is exclusively available on Amazon, and there's like contractual reasons. They said the contract that they have with Amazon states that it can only exist on there.
Oh, in Netflix in Canada, it's available.
And I
So
think
maybe
also
Netflix Canada can save it.
I think Netflix also tries to like, cater to quality shows like Daredevil shows and stuff. So I don't know. It'd be a good fit.
Hannibal is of the utmost quality. What are you talking about?
He's just trying to get one last argument in before the show
you
ends.
want these gloves to come off? You want these gloves off again?
So
Max?
you're going to see hype. I mean, Ant-Man, whatever it's called, July 10th.
Yeah.
All right. Are you going to see it in like big 3D or small 3D?
Yes. I'm going to see it in a large format theater.
Okay.
It's on IMAX, but it's.
I think they should also
format.
offer it in like micro screens.
Ooh.
Like for the ant
no,
inside you.
microscopes.
Yeah.
Like you just walk in, there's a microscope, and you just sit down and like the whole time. By the time the movie's done, you wear like a little monocle 3D glasses. Like it's not for both of your eyes, it's just for one. So you're just like this.
What a great
brilliant.
way to contract pink eye. Max, are you not excited for it?
I
Do
am.
you not
I was
care?
gonna name that, but since you said it, the one other thing is that recently we've been getting more and more footage of Fantastic Four, and I'll say, wait.
It's Miles Teller, baby.
First of all, the quality of actors is there, so that has me hopeful. The director is also a good director. It's the guy that made X-Men First Class.
It's also no, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yes.
Is he the guy that just got kicked off Star Wars?
I don't know, but I think it's the guy that directed X-Men First Class. Is he not?
Okay, that I can't. No, because I thought that was.
It's directed by Josh
Vaughn.
Trank.
Yeah, no, that wasn't First Class.
He directed Chronicle. Was his last movie.
Yeah, he didn't do X-Men.
Oh,
X-Men was Matthew
never
Vaughn.
mind. Yeah.
Yeah, X-Men was Matthew Vaughn.
Well,
this guy just got kicked off of Star Wars.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I messed up. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be either a giant train wreck of a film, or it's going to be fun because it actually looks like better than what I had anticipated it to be.
Yeah, I'll say that, yeah.
So it's got that going for it. Plus, of course, it comes out like right on my birthday, so that's like
Happy birthday, man.
because of that. I feel like it's like a birthday gift, or maybe it's a bit terrible gift.
Fox is giving you a birthday
Yeah, of
gift.
course.
I
They're
feel
like,
like-
listen, here you go.
I feel like Miles Teller gives hope to like all kids who want to be actors everywhere because he's not that like good looking. He's not that like talented, and somehow he's in like every movie ever now.
How about that Creed trailer though? Did you guys see it?
Assassin's
Yep.
Creed.
No. The
Creed,
one where Rocky
It's
Balboa
Rocky's-
actually
Oh
plays the
God.
role of.
Yeah, it's a Rocky spinoff
Yeah.
where Apollo Creed's son, played by the Human Torch himself,
God.
Michael B. Jordan.
Because we don't have enough dumb boxing movies.
Do we?
I mean,
Name the
there's-
last one that came out.
Southpaw
besides
is coming
Grudge-
out in like a month.
Is it
I
dumb?
don't know.
It's just stop saying it's dumb.
Listen,
You know what
don't
is
mess-
a dumb? You know what is a dumb boxing movie? Grudge Match.
Wait,
What
how's
is?
Fantastic Four 2 announced already? For 2017.
Is
They haven't even
Damn,
seen
what-
how this one will do.
Marvel
Shit.
knows what they're doing.
That's
That
not
wasn't
Marvel.
Fantastic
Yeah,
Four
that's
is
Fox.
not Marvel. It's still
No.
it's a Marvel
No.
property. They have no involvement.
No, they
No,
have
they have
no
zero
Marvel.
involvement.
Wow.
Yeah,
They're really
no
losing
involvement
grip.
whatsoever. No, they lost the grip a long time
Yeah, they
ago.
had
They were
to
going
sell.
back. They were going bankrupt, so they sold off Fantastic Four and X-Men to Fox and Spider-Man to Sony. This happened a long time ago.
And Hulk.
I know that.
And
I just didn't-
Punisher.
I didn't realize that they have no involvement.
Yeah, they have. They also have zero involvement in X-Men movies.
Yeah, yeah.
And up until this next one, they had zero involvement in Spider-Man.
Okay.
Except for their little logo appearing at the beginning.
It's
Where like
yeah.
the comic book flippy pages.
Still can't get over the fact that like a 12-year-old boy is playing Spider-Man, but okay.
He's
Yeah,
19.
he looks like he's 12. He could be friends with
Yeah.
my brother Noah.
It might as well be your brother.
He just
What's the problem?
what's he gonna do? Like, oh Venom, I'm gonna fight you, and then he like pulls out like his like favorite lucky sock. Like, what the hell?
I don't think that Zach is familiar with the character that Spider-Man actually is in the comics, because this is what Spider-Man is. Like, he's a high school kid. He's like angst with his girlfriend.
Which,
Like,
to
that's
be
sort of his
fair,
thing.
I think Andrew Garfield nailed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Like he was
Andrew Garfield was an amazing
freaking
Spider-Man.
That's the only thing is like I feel bad that he's not like I wish that they could have
Yeah.
just said nothing exists but Andrew Garfield is Spider-Man because I think he was
Yeah,
so good. So
I don't know
I
why they're
recently
rebooting
rewatched
again.
The Amazing Spider-Man, the first one, and that's such a good movie. I really think
No.
that may be my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Oh
Yeah.
I maintain that those movies are shit, but Andrew Garfield is a great Spider-Man. I'll say that.
Which,
He's a
to
great
be
Peter
fair,
Parker.
in a movie that's called Spider-Man, if the role of Spider-Man is really good, it kind of makes the movie by virtue really good. No,
No,
Oh,
that's
okay,
not. That's
okay.
not true. That's not true,
All right.
dude. That's not true.
All right,
Get out of here.
sure.
We don't accept that.
Gabe is an
It's
expert
just
today.
that it's just when you go back to the Tobey Maguire movies, there's zero moments in there that feel the same. Like I actually rewatched Amazing Spider-Man like 4 or 5 days ago. It was on, so I was just watching it. That moment where he comes back home and Aunt May, she knows that he's Spider-Man, but like she can't say anything to him and he can't say anything to her, and the emotion there. And after the passing of Ben, like nothing. There's no moments like that in those Tobey Maguire movies.
But what didn't people like about the Tobey Maguire ones? That he was like dopey and cheesy and like it was like forced.
He wasn't up until the third
And
one.
then this,
the second one
they're
is
bringing in a
great.
little kid who's gonna feel dopey and cheesy and not very threatening again.
Spider-Man's
He's not
super
supposed to be
dude.
threatening, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I don't know how that's
You got
gonna
the
make
wrong-
an interesting movie. Maybe it'll be rated PG.
It just might. No, it'll be
And he'll
PG-13.
like kiss the girl in the treehouse or something at the end of the movie.
Well, is that the stuff you're doing when you're 19?
He's not
Yeah.
19. That guy's like 12.
No, but he's gonna be playing a high school, like
Yeah,
he's
a freshman?
16
he's at least 16, 17.
Yeah,
Whatever.
16 and 17-year-olds are doing things they shouldn't do. They're not on treehouses.
Whatever, man.
Well, if they
Okay,
are,
but-
they're not. They're certainly not doing things they should be.
And he mentioned Southpaw, and I wanted to make a connection.
Oh,
to,
here we go.
Max's hat right now. He's wearing a Sons of Anarchy hat. Sons of Anarchy, the showrunner and creator Kurt Sutter, wrote Southpaw.
Yeah.
And so, if you know anything about Sons of Anarchy, is that he can write.
Well, if you know anything about Kurt Sutter, didn't he do
He's-
the Shield
he's-
before?
Yeah, no.
Oh, no, not-
Yeah, he.
Was it the Shield?
That was Sean.
No,
Ryan
or
something.
he had another show before that.
Kurt Sutter was a writer on the Shield.
Oh,
but he
okay,
didn't
okay.
create
So
it.
he was a writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the guy is like
He's
really,
twisted.
really good in terms of writing and stuff.
Yeah, so yeah. Shut.
She-
I saw the hat. Whatever. I got nothing to say.
My hype city is my desperate hope that I get into the closed Battlefront Alpha later today,
Oh,
which would be really awesome. And we do have breaking news, so I'm.
Oh, here we go. Breaking news. Is this the NFL again? Or
No, this is
something
Iwata had a
relevant?
shareholder meeting.
Oh.
Oh, that was cool. I saw it.
Okay,
Wait, is it the stadium thing
no,
about the baseball
no.
team?
What? They
Okay,
bought a
never
baseball
mind.
team?
They apparently own. They're like the large shareholder of the Seattle baseball team, or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I've
It was-
heard about that. That's why they had the Splatoon things on there.
I got to give
Yeah.
you some direct quotes because this is just gold.
Okay.
Okay.
NX is a new platform, so the installed base will have to be built up from zero. That's a quote.
Yeah.
When NX is launched, there already will be a certain volume of 3DS and Wii U hardware widely existing in the market. So from a software business perspective, it would be highly inefficient to stop releasing titles. So he's confirming that they're going to continue to release Wii U and 3DS games after the launch of this, which they're barely releasing Wii U games now, so I'm not
they're
sure how that
basically
works.
going to have 3 consoles,
I guess.
where they barely can take care of 2. Okay.
And he said, as for Wii U, we will continue to make efforts, as it is a priority within the company, to think about how we can satisfy the consumers who purchase this system. And he said that, I cannot disagree with your indication that Wii U is experiencing the most unfavorable situation. I will not share details on NX today, But with regard to the launch of Nintendo 3DS and Wii U not necessarily having progressed well and not acquiring sufficient support from software publishers, we intend to... This is the most mind-blowing of all. So their complaint was like, doesn't have third-party support. And here is his response, his rebuttal. We intend to offer NX through a Nintendo-like solution. Thank you for understanding that we are making various considerations and preparations in order to avoid what happened with the previous generations. What the heck does that mean? We intend to offer NX... That tells me we're not having any third parties then. We intend to offer NX through a Nintendo-like solution?
NX is a piece of duct tape that you can just...
What does that even mean? Like, they're saying we don't like how you did things, and he says, we will offer this new system in a Nintendo-like way.
The issue is that the Nintendo-like way has not worked.
Yeah.
So maybe it's time to do un-Nintendo-like way.
If the NX comes out and Zelda launches on Wii U exclusively after the NX to satisfy those consumers as a thank you.
All right. Another thing. In North America, the Wii U... the eShop got Ocarina of Time today. Ocarina.
Wow.
Ocarina is the new whale simulator?
It's the whale. Yeah, it's a whale simulator. I can't even talk. Ocarina. There you go. Mm-hmm. So $10, dude. I'm going to go buy that right after this podcast, and I'm going to play that all day
And
today.
you don't need to buy anything to listen to this podcast, but we would love it if you could go leave us a review on iTunes, give it a star rating, leave a review, be entered to win for a console. We'll probably pick that in about a week and get one of you a brand new next-gen system. That will wrap up our show for today. We'll be back next week with episode 18, where we become legal and all sorts of spicy things go down. Until then, though, enjoy your week of innocence. I'm Ghost Robo. You can find me at twitter.com/GhostRobo. Max is Max... Max, what's your full name?
Blitzwinger.
Blitzwinger. Twitter.com/Blitzwinger. And Gabby over there is Twitter.com/VolatileGabe. I may be at Comic-Con next week, so we may have to modify the show, but it'll still come up out on Friday.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
We'll just record it in the future or the past.
Yeah, to be fair, there isn't any games or anything like that, which, by the way, help us send emails because it would be really good if we could get some discussion going through that.
Send us some non-gaming related emails. I want to talk about
give
other
us
stuff.
some life-related dilemmas or something.
Yeah.
If you're 19 and you're in a treehouse and it's, let us know. We're going to be 18 next week, so maybe we can help you out.
You can send us adult emails.
Since when did this thing happen where, like, our age is equivalent to the episode number? Because I missed
Today.
Oh, okay.
It's a new suit we're trying out.
Okay.
And hopefully you guys...
Did you miss the quinceañera in episode 15?
Yeah, I don't even know what that is, but all right.
Yeah, I was like...
It's a traditional Hispanic party where usually a female, but sometimes a male. It's a coming of age party when you turn 15.
Oh, did we have a bar mitzvah before?
Ooh, Mazel Tov.
Oh. I guess we missed out on a few different holidays already at this point.
Whether you're from Canada and enjoying Canada Day, or you did enjoy it, or whether you're in America and enjoying America Day, sometimes referred to as the 4th of July, I hope you have a safe time, and please don't shoot off that many fireworks. They're cool and they sound great, but when I'm trying to fall asleep, it's not really nice. So
Don't drink and drive.
Don't drink and drive.
Please don't do that.
Don't sparkler and drive. Don't firework and drive.
I feel like that's safer. But
plot yourself down by your lake. Watch some fireworks. Put the podcast in. Give your mom a kiss. And until next week, everybody, thanks again for watching and listening. We will see you all later.